Back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for yet again another international fixture. This one is huge. It's a decider. And it is going to be Australia taking on the English. This game, if it's anything like the last two matches, probably going to be relatively close between these two sides. Who do you see taking it out for this third contest?
England.
Between the two? Oh, you're going England straight away?
I'm going England.
Okay. What is the reasoning behind that?
I just don't know if the Australians have very much more. Honestly, last time England did a tour, it was close first two games, but in the last game, England won like 40 points to 12 or something.
Mm.
I don't know. I
was wondering why I didn't have volume, and then I realized that's because my headphone jack is here. So that will probably do it. But I hope you guys are all doing well. We will look through at the starting lineups. Now, this game is scheduled to start at 9:55, but if it's anything like the others, it will probably start in about an hour. No, probably like 15, 20 minutes, somewhere around there. So we've got plenty of time to chat all about this fixture, talk about the last one as well. It has to be said at some point.
Can we not?
Okay. Yeah, the All Blacks versus Ireland. What a game it was indeed. But this is the starting lineup for Australia that they have gone with. It is Marika Korombedi out on that left wing, who is actually sharing the space with Kieran at the moment. So that has reminded me to probably take him down just for a little moment. But James Slipper, Dave Parecki, and Taniela Tupou as the front row. Then it will be Nick Frost and Matt Phillip as the locks for this match. Harry Wilson, Michael Hooper, and Rob Ballatini as the loose watcher. Nick White and Nola Alessio lotting in as the two in the halves for this match. Samu Karevi and Hunter Paisami, that is power personified in the midfield. And then Marika Korombedi, Tom Wright, and Reece Hodge in the back three for Australia. Then looking through quickly at England. Big change in the four-pack, and that is no Mara Itoje in this contest. But Alice Genge, Jamie George, and Will Stewart, pretty much the same front row that they have gone with throughout this whole tour. Ollie Chisholm and Johnny Hill as the locks. Then Courtney Laws, Lewis Ludlam, and Billy Vunipola as the loose watcher. Danny Kieran, Marcus Smith, plenty of Quins players out there for this contest. Owen Farrell and Guy Porter will be the midfield. Then it is Tommy Freeman, Jack Knoll, and Freddie Stewart there as well. Don't know why Falau Fakatawa was steering at the ball, or rather than actually playing the ball, says Ryan Sims there. And was a good second half comeback, says Hanoi. And there are eyes zoning in on the victory. The man, the legend Hooper, will save the day for Australia, says Steve Smith a bit earlier on as well. But looking through at the benches for this match, Falau Fainga'a will be there at number 16, number 17, and 18, Angus Bell and Alan Alalatoa. Then Rob Leota, Pete Samu, Tate McDermott, Len Ikatau, and then Suliasi Vunivalu.
Oh, I'm interested in that one.
Debut for that man. It's going to be intense. You've probably watched him more in league, haven't you?
No, I mainly, when I first saw him play for the Reds, I was like, who's this dude? And ever since then, I've just followed him on Instagram, on everything, YouTube highlights, watched his NRL highlights. Just one of those players that needs to get his hands on the ball.
He will be coming off the bench in the later stages of this contest. Lena Cattell, it's going to be hard to fit him and Suliasi Vunivalu out there on the field. Because Hunter Paisami, you would think, is going to have a full 80 minutes. And then alongside that, you would think that probably Samu Karevi would have 80 minutes. Depending on how it goes. He's a good player. He's actually selected for the Sevens at the Olympics, Commonwealth Games. But Luke Cowan-Dickey, Mark Vunipola, and Jay Hayes as the replacement front row. Nick Ezekwe. Then it is also going to be Jack Willis there, number 20. Jack Van Portfleet, at number 21. Will Joseph, 22. And then Arundel, who is another player you are very fond of. He will be.
I don't know much about him, but
you've seen him go all right, haven't you?
Yeah.
And also, want England to win, says Richard in England, says Sebastian. And so Hamish Foster going soon. It's a good question overall.
I don't think he should. I don't think that the mistakes that the All Blacks were making tonight was a coaching issue.
Oh, okay.
I think a coach can do as many things as he needs to make a good strategy. But if the players don't want to turn up to a ruck, not much you can do. I'm going to say it.
Good day, guys. Hamish looking snazzy. Yeah, I feel I'm overdressed for this, aren't I? Just a little bit.
Dirt on my phone.
Yeah. And I also realized that, I was looking before and I was like, is your neck all right? And then I realized it's see-through. So that's why.
Yeah, I got a green shirt on.
Yeah.
I'm sexy. You know it.
And George is winning Chile versus USA to make the World Cup. USA, you're going with?
USA. It's got to be. Yeah.
And also, I'm saying full-time 32-22 All Blacks. Fair play to Ireland, and Ian Foster needs to be sacked as a coach. There's Ryan Sims. I
feel bad for Foster. I do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I got some rugby cards at halftime in the last one. You know, the Wheat Bix Stat Attack ones?
Yeah.
Got Ian Jones, and I got Scott Barrett.
Ooh.
Then I got Scott Barrett. And then I got Nepo Lulala. So you'd have to say I got a bit of a dud pack.
Yeah.
Other than, I mean, Ian Jones.
Yeah.
Pretty good overall. Tate McDermott back for the Wallabies plus big plus, exactly right. Him being back in the Wallabies team, it's going to be awesome to see what he can do off the bench. That is rather than Jake Gordon. So a lot of people have talked about the fact that there's a lot more Reds players making their way into the side this week rather than the Waratahs like they were last week.
Yeah.
So do you think that's going to have a massive impact in the way that they end up playing?
They might do, because of the way Brad Fawn has done things at the Reds. They've sort of focused on basic skills. So maybe if they can just get their skills right, maybe we might see a bit of a,
And also we've got the All Blacks lost, says Carl. They did indeed. And also come on Oz, says Ed Vogel. And then can you tell me what Ian Foster's game plan is? Because there doesn't seem to be any. Says Joe, first part seemed to be the kicking game.
Yeah.
But then as soon as that started backfiring, they didn't really have a counter for it.
Well, it did work for the first part. They put the pressure on Ireland. They were in Ireland's deep in their half early on. And they were actually close to scoring. But the problem that they had was the minute the Irish would get the ball, the All Blacks defence wasn't really good enough to keep them in their half. And then the All Blacks would lose the ball in their own half. And all the work they'd do would just get undone by poor skills around the ball and the rucks, not protecting the ball, offsides, just stupid things. And the Irish just took that in and made it easy for them. So...
And also we have got their Kia plus Smith, Quins halfback Joe, Harlequins. Yeah. There's not really many Harlequins in this side other than those two.
Yeah.
Some people wanted to see Joe Marchant in the midfield rather than Guy Porter. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Joe Marchant would have been an awesome one to see alongside Owen Farrell and also some of those guys on the outside. But other than those two, Sebastian, who are the other Quins that we have got in this contest? I know that Don Brandt's not there. Quite a few Saints players, I think. Or no, I'm thinking of Sam Matavesi as well from the early game. And All Blacks lacked the top 2 inches. There's Tony there. And what's going on with the All Blacks? They are struggling big time at the moment. They don't seem to quite...
They're just not firing. They're just not motivated to physically front up. So Ireland deserved it. 100%. If you're not going to tune up and fight, then you're not going to win. So, so...
And also just finished watching the New Zealand versus Ireland match go Australia, says Red Lion there, and All Blacks like the top 2 inches. But the big thing as well was for the All Blacks, it kind of reminded me of when you got a lawnmower, right?
Yeah.
And your lawnmower's quite old, just like the All Blacks side. Yeah. And you rev it, rev it, and you choke it, don't you? That's actually what it's called. You put the choke in.
You don't choke it.
And then you
choking my lawnmower.
Put the diesel or the fuel in a little bit more, and then you give it another tug, and it still doesn't quite go. And then eventually it stutters and boom. And that was their little 5 minutes after half time. And then after that,
it was just back to the old
lawnmower needed
cut out again, and you had to put more fuel. And you're trying to figure out what's wrong with it, and people are saying get a new one, but you're saying no, the old one works fine. It just needs to go.
So relatable, isn't it?
Do it. You're getting frustrated. You're getting angry. You kick your dog.
They better be. They play in Springboks in a couple of weeks, says Carl, and also their marching would be amazing. But you don't mind Porter, me don't mind Porter at all. I don't mind Porter at all. Your phone doesn't like you with the autocorrect, does it, Sebastian? And George, old man, and the aura is gone. Says and doing a great job. Thanks so much, says Mark. No worries at all. And this game is only, it should be moments away from getting underway, but I think it's going to be about a 10:05 kickoff. The big problem for the ABs is they don't have the confidence to back themselves, says Joe.
It was sort of funny, they'd get the ball, but, they couldn't get anywhere. So they kick it to get it up the other end, and then the Irish would get the ball, but it was almost like, cheers, Carl. It was almost like the All Blacks defense wasn't up to it, keeping the Irish in the half. So the Irish would always make good ground. It was interesting. It was you'd never see a team like that dominate the All Blacks so badly for such a long time. But
Hey, look at you go, Carl. Welcome, mate. Says Sebastian there as well. Yeah, Carl renewing that membership. He must be close to getting a different colour badge, is he? Possibly, Carl.
I don't know.
Okay. And also long overdue, says Carl. And also we have got their look as well. Yeah, Sebastian, your phone is not playing the game tonight. Well, this afternoon, I should say. But there were some magical moments like when Will Jordan scored. Says Ryan, he just saw that he was marking Johnny Sexton, or that Johnny Sexton was in front of him and went, well, I'm quicker than you, aren't I?
Yeah.
I remember, there were a few interesting quotes from myself throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And All Blacks August, yes, they are indeed. And ABs are not the same team that they were before. And there is a job opening at number 10, if you want it, Fozzie says fluffier. And players to watch from both teams. I would say for Australia, Michael Hooper straight away comes to mind, and Samu Karevi is the other man that I'm thinking to watch out for.
The Australian fullback has got to front up. They've got to front up and dominate. They've got to, physically, I think it's going to be a slow game. I don't think there's going to be running rugby. It's going to be down to the forwards battling it out. 3 points here, 3 points there. Yeah, it's sort of just how it's been with Australia and England so far.
They've had very structured, kind of structured but unstructured at the same time, isn't it? It's just
like what do you call it in war terms?
A siege? No.
A siege? No, when the two sides they're not going anywhere.
Stalemate.
So it's like a stalemate. They just don't, But yeah. Usually the Wallabies defense gets tired, and historically the other side has always broken away towards the end. So.
And Irish had no problem attacking when given the ball. We just seemed down on ideas, says Joe. Yeah, anytime they gave it to the Irish and the Irish made like 40 metres, that should have been when they went, hang on.
Yeah, no, this isn't working. Why we're kicking the ball to them?
Pete Samu's drumming from the top of some sort of tower.
But the problem with the All Blacks was you'd say, well, why give it to the Irish? They'll get places. So then if you keep the ball, you go, well, now we keep possession. But the problem is then you get a penalty against you, or they rip it off you. So there's nothing you can do. They're going to win either way, So
he's loving the drums.
He's going to get some women after this.
I think so. He's very smiley, isn't he?
Deep in the cats.
And also we have got the Jordan wants to go not doing anything.
So I know what I'm doing.
And always been here. I was looking for the membership link, couldn't find it as well, says Carl. And also, I know Carl. Welcome to the members family. A nice sunny day in Cape Town, ready for a few points and head into the game later. It's going to be awesome. See how it goes. And George says David the Mighty is here. Indeed, we have got
what's this?
Some drumming. Oh, should I join in?
No, you haven't got a drum.
No, but I got one of these. They're all drumming.
They're not a full civil war on the field.
There's a lot of players or a lot of drummers.
What are they trying to make out here? Is they trying to write something?
There's not actually enough room to play.
I know, let's just put the guitar away then, eh? I'm trying to watch these. These sexy ladies.
Please, no, says David.
No, stop. What do you think of Rennie's game plan for this match? I have no idea. I have no idea how Australia goes about winning it because they are out-muscled and who knows? Maybe they can do it.
I think if Atoje was playing, it's a whole different game. But because he's not there,
it's got to really front up.
Bit of drumming going on. Like you lads play "We Will Rock You" by Queen. I thought you'd never ask.
No. Why was that one woman with her drum set not doing her job? Oh, the little guys out there, the ladies, line up. I'm in charge. God damn, they're going to be a D&B in the background? Why can't even Parker and Westpac do this?
Well, because we're normally on.
Brilliant.
We're on time. 3 minutes late already.
I'd rather watch it.
Also, it's getting slated unfairly, to be honest, this Paul. And dueling banjos, and I think Atoje's overrated. Says he may be slightly overrated at times, but he still brings that little bit of a nuisance to a breakdown.
If he's playing well, the entire England 4-pack is firing on 6 cylinders.
I wish someone could play Happy Birthday.
Yeah,
on
you
the
can't.
Guitar.
You can't. You can't. You claim you can, but you can't. Stop.
You want me to prove it?
Do it? No.
Okay.
Because I'm currently watching 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 chocolate bar wrappers on Hamish's desk. There's a box of squiggles.
Wow.
There's one of those. Another thing is squiggles.
It's very tight, D.
Wow. Hamish, you're just... wow.
I have to play Happy Birthday, won't I?
No, you don't. They're still going.
And I was able for the WGS ringing on behalf of the All Black supporters. Says Carl there in England's front row has been impressive. They certainly have Will Stewart, Alice Genge, and also Jamie George. This is a long song.
Yeah.
Welcome to the war they've just played.
Okay. Carlin says, do Ireland need to win a World Cup to be considered a real force, or they claim that? No. Winning 2 games against the All Blacks doesn't mean you're a world force. If you won 2 games against the All Blacks, beat the Springboks because they're world number 1, France will be when Ireland really got to do it. Like, I will support Ireland in the Six Nations because it's general respect. But at the end of the day, they're not the world number 1. They haven't just beaten the world number 1 team. France is the new world number 1.
Or did Ireland go above them after winning?
This is the thing you want to say. Are they world force yet? Not even close. World ranked 4th. So no, not got it.
I think Ireland are going pretty well.
I think they're going really well, but I don't think they're a world force because they beat a 4th ranked team twice.
My sincere condolences to all the All Blacks supporters, says JP Meyer, and also beating the All Blacks twice now means nothing, says Tony. And there.
Well, no.
Really? Okay. Come on, England, says Adrian. And then another 3 Northern Hemisphere wins today. There's a decent chance that we might see it at Georgia have done it, says Connor Gale. And also we have got there Sam Kane would be a decent snare drum, says Fluffy. And also we all know at the end of the day who the number 1 team is, says Carl Peterson.
Carl, no.
And Lord Georgia Island are world number 1s right now, says Connor.
Yeah. But then France is what, second? Well, no, but what happens to... No, I don't know.
It's a weird one because France don't have a game, I don't think.
Yeah.
And also as the game started, says Ferris, not yet. The teams actually haven't made their way out onto the field yet. And World Rugby just announced it, says Connor Gale. And also, do you think Fozzie should be sacked and why? Says Ed Vogel.
No, I don't think so. Well,
I guess, and why?
Because it's the mistakes that they made weren't a coaching error. So.
I was like, I remember the score bets that you guys put in for the Ireland match. And then I was, they were wrong, weren't they? And I was like, well, Ireland normally beat France in the Six Nations, not last year, but close, says Paul there. And also George denial is the first stage of grief.
Yeah. Punching the wall.
Yeah.
I punched the wall. Mum was like, get out of my house.
Sometimes something weird that happened at halftime. It sounded like a storm ringing around the stadium. I thought, but nope. It was just flames and an ad for Game of Thrones. Yeah, I thought that there was some sort of technical difficulties. Then I thought that it was some sort of like helicopter that was going to come down and gift us Scott Robinson from... Yeah. Imagine that. Scott Robinson lands helicopter on the halfway line at halftime after coming back from Fiji. Yeah. The crowd would have lost their absolute shit. He would have got the biggest pop of the night. And France are the top dogs, to be fair, regardless of the ranking, says Carlin. Yeah. And then I always remember where I was the day New Zealand Rugby died, buying a pint off Kevin at the Otahuhu. And George Aaron Smith can lend you some tissues. So
well done, Tony. You're doing well there. Keep it up, buddy. Keep it up.
France are above Ireland despite the rankings. I'm
just pointing out to the Irish fans, do not get too ahead of yourselves, all right? I'm a New Zealand rugby fan. I'm just pointing it out. How do you offend the whole chat?
You managed to do it every live stream.
I've got all the Irish ramped up now.
Top snails, says Fluffy there. I got the closest because you said by 7 of the All Blacks and I did 32-20 ABs. And so I won because I got the closest score. And then Domain, then Ring. And there, although you said the All Blacks would win. So I think that cancels out straight away because the Irish won. Unfortunately, in terms of the predictions, the TAB wouldn't allow it to come back as a multi, would they?
Yeah.
I was like, pump the brakes. All Blacks will overcome this. Says Carl there, and also New Zealand has lost 4 out of 5 matches, and 3 against Ireland. Crazy stuff. The 1 victory was against Ireland, says JP Meyer. And also, evening gents, my heart is that's auto-corrected, I believe, but I'm not too sure what it says. Enna, can't believe New Zealand lost, says Bertie there. And also, I thought that they were going to bring back Doug Howlett in the Game of Thrones blimp. It would have been great to see one of them flying down the wing. It is very close. Yeah. And also, even big deal, no one ever feels bad for the northern side, says Sebastian.
Yeah. It is, also
but says David Mullen also, everyone do AB's got a close, so I took it out, so I got close, says Wolf Blood. And New Zealand have felt like the unbeatable team for over 100 years, and now it seems vulnerable at the moment. It's messing with my brain, says Steve.
No. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah.
Hope you are excited. Steve, do let me know your score prediction for this one, mate.
Steve, we like you.
Well, we do, don't we?
He's all right, yes.
He's all right, yeah. Vale Andrew Cole, unfortunately, passed away a little bit earlier on.
See that ref that everyone's talking about?
There's a dead pixel on the screen.
I know. It's disrespectful.
I wonder who ended up messing up that one pixel. Because how do you get a pixel messed up unless it's like a cricket ball maybe? And farewell, Foster and Kane. I think Scott Robertson should be the new All Blacks coach rather than Fozzie. And also 23-10. Aussie winning high key, and my score is 20-8. Favour of the English. And it's because we were used to winning. And if I close my eyes, it's like Billy T is back on my telly. Says Fluffia. I'm going to take a week to get over the loss, but congrats and good job to Ireland. Yeah, exactly right.
Am I the only New Zealander that kind of likes the underdog thing, though? You like it? You know what I mean? Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? Oh, I kind of like it. You know, we're at number 1, number 2, and number 3, and everyone's like poking at your back, and now it's Ireland's turn. Now we're going to poke fun of them or France. You know what I mean? We're no longer, now we get the chance to, get back, improve, and get back in there. You know what I mean? We're no longer that team that everyone's trying to go after anymore.
Underdogs are cool. I don't know. I'll just throw a number out there and say Australia 30 and England 15.
Yeah.
Says Steve Smith.
Hanoi says underdogs are cool. There's something cool about, working hard to get back up to the number 1, I'm not the only one that thinks that, Hamish, so.
And also remember that Afrikaans for sure. Okay, that makes sense. And also Foster had to be noble and resign for the team to propel. He has to go.
I just can't see. I'm sorry, but if he doesn't resign, they're not going to get rid of him. They just won't. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll bring Scott Robertson. He's in Fiji. I think
that man's just asked everyone to get their tonsils working for this game. It's nice of him.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that we haven't actually had the national anthems yet? And we're currently 12 minutes past when it was supposed to kick off.
Yeah, no. But they put on some D&B concert, you know what I mean? So
that's true. Yeah, you're losing for 20 years. It's fun, George. It's wrong with Australian there.
Oh. No, well, you guys are on the up now. You got to enjoy that side of it,
I think you guys work tomorrow. See you for Foster's next strategy. Says Tony. See you later,
Tony,
Foster.
Mate, you're going to get right to
manage the bunny ranch.
Tony, 1-on-1. Let's go, Tony.
Bull queen.
Let's go, Tony. I'm going to fight you, Tony.
Save the queen.
Go away, Tony. You and me.
I lost a bet. Now I'm going to shave my head. AB's lost, says Tesla. Huh? Yeah. Did you also put money on the multi? Or on the TAB for
I don't gamble, and I do not believe we are promoting any gambling of any sort.
I promoted the rugby cards. That's kind of gambling. I said everyone should
crack on every Tuesday evening. Is it?
No, not on live stream though, do you? And I was like, evening, brother. If anyone even wonders why I lean this way, it's just because I'm taking a hit. I don't know.
Yeah, you're smoking crack. Hamish is high on cocaine 90% of the time he does these tricks.
The thing is, people would be like, makes sense. That's why he's always got so much energy. Yeah. And I was like, are they still not out? They are. They are
there
still.
Is a lot of pissing around.
Yeah. Australian national anthem about to take place.
Yeah.
And let's get the match underway. Stop messing around, says the Sebastian there. And it's hard to judge by that. And also, we have got, so as your score, he kind of looked like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
With like a real long neck.
Who do you think in the forward pack for Australia is going to fire? Valentini? He's like an Artie Savia, man. That man can demolish some people.
I'm going someone people probably aren't thinking. I'm thinking Matt Phillip.
Yeah.
Well, this guy likes it. He likes singing loud and proud for his Aussie boys. And I'll say he has a good omen. It's good to lose a few.
Yeah.
Because a World Cup, before a World Cup from a South African supporter, says Roger there.
It will only make the All Blacks stronger come the World Cup. It really will.
Oh, Michael's going to try and hit this note. He's not going to get it, though, because that guy...
He gave up. Nah, he's wearing makeup. He's got to look good. Give the man a hug. Yep. I love how they do that.
Smacking each other around a bit.
Fight.
Oh, jeez. That's some
shoulder.
bloody force.
Look at those two going at it.
Telea Tupo
on the back.
Well, no, just because they're sponsored by a chocolate company. Says Carly and England to win.
Oh, they're sponsored by a chocolate company that left New Zealand and moved to Australia. And now they're sponsoring the international.
Your finger really helped there for some reason. It really.
That's what the woman say.
Yeah, look, like anytime you point, disappears up in the corner. You know, it's handy.
Hamish scores. Hamish always scores. You know, he's just out there getting the woman.
Come on, says Adrian. They are ready to go now. 15 minutes late, but we are still fired up just as we were 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I like it.
We've actually been going for 25 minutes on this live stream already.
Nick White is a weird looking dude.
He might be, but he looks more normal than
my
me.
boy is looking like a Red Dead Redemption.
And Georgia on crack will be like Peter Griffin. Why is there no hole in the soil? Gee, this thing is bugging me.
Yeah, there's got to be a hole in every wall, man.
It's like you and the BNZ pens.
Oh, no, come on, man. So is anyone else with me on this? When you see a B&Z pen and it's got the large bit that goes over like paper, you've got to snap that bit off. It's just a tradition. You've got to snap it off. I went into the B&Z bank and I did it to a few pens. They didn't even notice.
Most people would rob a bank, but instead you snap the pens.
Yeah, me and Isaac do it all the time. It's just has to be done.
England have the ball now, and it is going to be Danny Keir back in the English kit for this game. I didn't realise they play it on a cricket field. Yeah, the SCG, it's charged down now. And it's Nick Frost who didn't quite get to it. It's a knock on. It's a double knock on, and everyone's knocking the ball on. For the start. And can you get chocolate starfish too? I don't think so. Not that I've seen anyway. But that would be maybe a decent choice. Nick White, a lively spring wire, says Joe Webby. And yep, I could do that, says Jaden. At least there's like TARS players in that squad, says Sammy Souza. And also going to paint these Aussies on the pitch today and stamp them in, says Adrian. Fired up.
Come on, Australia. I kind of want the Aussies to win. But do I think they can do it? No. No.
Cheeky.
I want to see them firing though. That man's going to get angry.
Did you watch State of Origin the other night?
No.
There were punches thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a red card in rugby union.
They just both got a yellow and told to settle down a bit.
Yeah.
You know? It's good fun. A Weetabix with breakfast for England, I hope, says Richard. And also wonder if Santos will just spark a light in the Aussies. And also we have got their fired up, says
Alice
Adrian.
Ginger's been a dick. He's got an ugly face.
Does he though?
Yeah.
I feel like
he's always trying to start shit people, and then people get him, and he picks his shit.
Hodge takes it. And thanks for hosting us, New Zealand, says Ian Broad there. And yeah, brilliant tour.
Okay, all the Irish fans now, let's all get together and gang up on England. Fuck England.
And to all our English supporters, let's gang up on the Irish.
No.
You just offended the whole English
nation. Yeah, but that's what I do. And all the Irish fans in the chat before going,
and us is a white orc, says Stephen, and 4 cavalry wishes and 6 pints of milk. Yum, it's a penalty.
The ref's pointing at number 3. Who is that?
Some
other dude. He's in trouble. The ref's like, you are a bad man. So what's happening? They kick it. And,
advancing in front of the kick. It's a tough penalty to have against you.
Damn.
Definitely because it's a prop, so he was never getting to the ball anyway, was he?
Reece Hodge is going for the kick. He can kick this, man.
Going for the corner.
My boy's got big legs.
It's got the distance. 50 metres out.
They went to Mars and back.
Went quite high, didn't it? Oh, they...
I love you, Sebastian. Oh, that's sad to us, so.
Yeah, Sebastian is an English fan. I just put that together. And all the Irish fans can now gang up on England this episode. And also, what the poof gang use Southern Fairies.
Damn, that loss really affecting. Just embrace the underdog, man. Just embrace it. Get excited by it, you know?
They're quite having to try and fend off Billy Vunipola. It hasn't quite worked out for him, but now the advantage going in the favour of Australia. Marika Korombete plays halfback. Is it off to slip? And man, that guy has got a lot of experience.
The Australians are running with the ball. They don't appear to be getting very until now. No, Hodge
fends. Knocks down Tommy Freeman, or in fact, it was Guy Porter at 13 for this game. Matt Phillips been hit hard, and they're going back for the penalty. Except Sebastian don't like Saracens. That is very true.
No one does.
Was he averaged $20 on Will Jordan to score first? Shucks, he took like 60 minutes to cross over. Says Tesla there, and also I've got some Southern Fairies in my cabbage patch.
Those fairies will grow up to be man-slaughtering machines.
I remember playing Shrek on PlayStation 2. You had to catch some fairies.
Yeah.
For Fiona.
Oh yeah, she a little hoe. Fiona. She just I ain't keen on her. She be friend zoning people out here, you know, playing the game. You know?
Which is half of England's team, says Steve. That is true. Although luckily they've got 9 and 10 Harlequins, so he might be able to just kind of, I guess, accept the English slightly. Now, Noel Alicio about to line up this kick.
Gunspark says he's bored. Well, just watch the live stream, Gunspark, and you have an entertaining night watching the Wallabies do what they do. This guy's got a 100% accuracy.
He's done well.
What a lad.
2022, he's got 9 from 9. And yeah, I don't like the series, but I have to I'll put up with them when they wear the English shirt.
Yeah.
And as the Kiwi ref it is Angus Gardner.
I'm a Crusaders supporter, and I have to put up Bone about when he plays for the All Blacks. But I don't like him when he plays for the Blues. He plays well for the Blues. He doesn't play well for the All Blacks.
Let's go, says Gunspark. Noel Alicio, 100% kicking accuracy this season. Betchy misses this just because I've said that.
My boy is
He's missed.
He missed it.
He missed it, and that is 100% gone. Forgot Sebastian was an England fan. Sammy Sosa. And also, 4 people, give me your bets. Thanks. Bets, please. 100% accuracy. Now it's 80 now. And yeah, it has dropped a little bit. In England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales have the best Southern Fairy vegetables, and they all speak. Now these Aussies and Kiwis. Anyone thinks, says Wolfblood. I'll go England by 5. Sorry. See, that's the thing. It's, do you end up saying that Steve's team's going to lose, or do you say Sebastian's team's going to lose?
Steve's your daddy. Steve's my daddy. Daddy Steve.
Australia by 5.
Money talks.
Except the English slightly no. Wait, are we not all speaking British English here? And come on, Australia, get us a Southern Hemisphere win for the boys.
Australia, win the series. It's revenge, man. England beat you in Australia last time.
It's been kicked out on the full from the 22, so that will now mean a scrum feed for Australia on the 22-metre line. Lake breeze coming through.
Oh, the English won't know what to do.
They're used to
I'm a
the
Jeff
breeze.
Barrett, I don't know. Bowden's an interesting one, man.
He's from the necky, isn't he?
I don't know how I feel about Bowden. Sometimes I think he should just head off overseas.
Australia by 3 says through.
I did like how Bowden ran the ball a bit more tonight, though. You know.
Would you have preferred Mo'unga starting?
He had no answers when he came on either, though.
And also now it's George Australia all the way, says Steve.
I was
going to say, you agree with anything Steve says, don't you?
Steve, Dad. No, I want Australia to win, but do I think they will?
And also, imagine a Northern Hemisphere Test Series whitewash. Says Mike, it would be absolutely huge for Northern Hemisphere rugby. That is for sure. Australia, South Africa, and Argentina left to deliver. Says Sammy Sosa, and come on, you have to go. For the Wallabies, coached by Dave Rennie, and let's go Rennie, says Rio Gamer.
I want support for Rennie as well. I like Rennie. Prove wrong those haters.
Nicely taken by Johnny Hill.
They're
getting driven backwards in a very good drive there by the Australians.
Keep going around, boys.
Trying to put them into touch as close as well. It's just gone down.
That's not very good from England. George, score, please. Do you want me to do some crack? I'll try, but it's hard. I don't have any.
Now, there goes Billy Vanapola.
BV.
Big shot.
BV.
BV. A good nickname. Tackled by RV. Well, I guess that's actually the RV. Can we call him that, Rob Valentini?
Yeah, he moves, BV versus RV.
Because he moves pretty well, doesn't he? Like a recreational vehicle. He's got plenty of power. Enough to power a microwave and a TV.
That guy's having
James
a baby.
Slipper's quite
sore. I need to poo. It's coming out.
And also, I would throw your effing your frickin' shrimp on the barbecue.
Where's Adrian from? Where's Big Ass Sport? Probably
I think he's at the Titans-Broncos game. I think he went to it. So that is why he isn't able to do the Australia-England game, I believe. And also, George, you can do comms for a minute left. Hamish, have a break.
You don't want me to do that. Hamish wouldn't let me have that much control. I would demolish this YouTube channel.
And go Norths. Tame the Lions, 3 Lions to beat Cicero, and also Irish better win their quarterfinal, or they will be ever known as the Bottlers.
It's funny. What do the Irish will do if they do not win when they're called like, you beat the All Blacks, they do well up to the World Cup, but then they don't. What do you do? Like, they've got such an amount of pressure on them now,
I think James Slipper hurt himself from trying to get Courtney Laws in the rib cage. Yeah, see, he charges in. And he's hurt himself.
He's like, oh!
It's not an ideal play. And also definitely in an NRL game. And also Noel Alicio, he is starting at fly half for this contest. And also we have got the Let's Go You Wallabies delinquents, says Adrian. And also, would you pipe the F down about the best of what? Says Sebastian. And need to more people. And I was like, oh, well, UK, we ain't even English, Welsh, Scottish, yet Warriors like the Irish. It's Adrian about to be thrown in. That doesn't look like it's going to be very straight.
If the English win, do you support the English?
It's nicely done by Pareki. Now Sami Karevi passes back to RV. It's a penalty going back. And also, we are already considered bottlers, even winning a quarterfinal won't change that.
I love a good fight.
Oh, but
the Australians are ramped up. The Australians.
No real surprise.
Punch him in the head.
That Johnny Hill's in the middle.
Johnny Hill, punch him in the face. Oh, I reckon they're trying to piss off Johnny Hill. I reckon Michael Hooper's got his eye on him. He's like, yeah, we go. They're trying to get in his head. Little redneck looking shit. English got to admit, man, Johnny Hill did not look English.
Sorry, I meant Paul Williams as the...
So Johnny Hill did a feint to Nick White, got him down.
And then gave him a cuddle.
So was that legal? Was he offside?
He was fine up until he wouldn't let him go on the ground.
Oh, so that's why. Yeah, he's a bit of a dick.
And also we were going to punch him and stamp him. And okay, sorry, man, it was just funny, man. Jeez. And I was like, don't suck the Coomera like the AB's Wallabies. Says Taro there. I don't think I've ever heard the saying suck a Coomera.
Suck our Coomera.
Do you prefer orange or purple Coomera?
I generally do not know enough about Coomera. I don't eat Coomeras that often to know that there are different coloured Coomeras.
Mm.
You know,
so there's a few.
France looking like the favourites in the world. See, this is see France series one against
nice
Japan.
Run, Tupou. That was a shocking pass to Nick Frost.
Or Ireland with a series one against New Zealand. I'm not sitting here saying that any side is favourites because it's that far away. Like the Irish might play dreadfully in Six Nations. France might. You just never know. Players get injured. Refs can be dicks. You just never know. So that's why I say to any fans of both sides, do not get too ahead of yourselves. Take the win, be happy about it, and just keep trying. But the pressure is on those two sides now. It's on them heavy because you've now got to keep doing what you're doing. So who knows? England might come out there and show us what we're all made of, and then everyone's like, well, I don't get it. You know?
And also South Africa not winning in France. No way, brother, says Sebastian. And France will South Africa for Rugby World Cup 2023. And also I got my flag signed by Nepo and shook his hand twice, which is probably more than he did out on the field, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nepo Lalala, unfortunately, a few handling errors. And wise words, George says Tesla. And also the top four are all same side of the World Cup. Any of those teams could win, says Mountain of Asylum. Exactly right.
I listened to a podcast yesterday of Steve Hansen, and he said it's brilliant. You know, the fact that the Northern Hemisphere is doing so well, they're all evenly matched. Like anyone who sits there and says that the Australians or the South Africans in New Zealand are no hope at the World Cup, it's just stupid saying that because we just don't know. You know?
Take the win and not the advice, says Adrian. And also now I want a Coomera. And his hand was massive. Says Max there. Yeah, he's still... Sorry.
Am I offending Adrian?
I shouldn't fire that in, but I was going to say, yet somehow he still manages to drop the ball.
Yeah.
With the massive hands, Nipple Lalala.
Alice Ginge. Still ugly.
And I was like, is that a koala bear sitting next to you now? Says Craig Goodwin. I think a koala bear is one of the nicest things anyone's ever called you.
Is that a koala bear sitting next to you now? Cheers, Craig. You dick.
No, Craig's really nice.
Is it a fat joke?
No, you're cuddly, aren't you?
I don't know.
Cuddly,
what did you mean,
and
Craig?
You got chlamydia, so it's perfect.
I've also got AIDS on one of my feet.
I still need that tie for court on Monday, mate, says Vagabond. And now it's another mistake.
Oh.
And we're going back for the initial knock-on. Australia will have the scrum feed. Nipple probably couldn't wait to rush to KFC after the game, says Tesla. And it's great seeing both North and South very competitive. Yeah. At the moment, Irish fans
Eddie Jones.
are feeling themselves too much after the quick
or not? I still don't know.
And I was like, where's the chat, guys? It's the Big VA show. Very good question. And also, I got Foster to sign my doormat. She's the wearer there. Our doormat says, you are welcome here if you have beer. Which is quite a fun one.
I never bring beer.
No, so why you... No.
Yeah. Since when was Georgia koala? I don't know. I'll be a koala.
And also, koala are cuddly till you piss them off. They're not so cuddly,
Absolutely. You know, I rip shit apart. You know, I put holes in walls.
Oh, if you stay right there, it's completely disappeared. Oh, no, it's back.
Do you want me to leave?
No. Here we go. It's not too bad. At the moment, scrum feed here currently
good,
for
bruv?
Australia.
You good?
They've only had 13 minutes of this game.
Crack open a cold one, Billy, and get going.
Although we talk about the rugby, says Rusty, we were just waiting for that scrum feed.
Yeah, we're
As
just.
it had taken about 2 minutes for them
I
to get
keep
down.
getting ramped up by these people in the chat who claim the All Blacks are the best team in the world.
But now, Australia feeding this ball and Nick White. Let's get it into the back to Rob Valentini. White once again. Karevi tries to bump off the tackle of Marcus
He's done
Smith.
well, though. That's good ground. That's why you have it.
White once again going back.
Oh.
No, Alessio, that was Ford.
Yeah.
Was it not? Stranger Things 5 Netflix 2023. Yes, and also we have got Eddie Jones' Japanese American mother and an Australian father, and there, and also Ching Ching to a cold beer. And Foster going to probably apply to work at Countdown in 2025. Oh, it's stolen by Jamie George, but he's gone down. Now Ellis Genge just slipped as well. The front row are going down like they are some pins in a 10-pin bowling alley. Now it's kicked him behind. That's going to keep on rolling and rolling and rolling. Oh, he had to put that one down, Tom Ryder, or else it could have been dangerous. And also, you just talk cuddly.
Okay,
as well, says Craig.
That's all right.
Also, one thing I say about the Irish team is they are humble folks, not throwing anything in people's faces. It just feels good to get the victory, but nothing but respect for New Zealand, says Paul. And Eddie is one of us now, says Adrian. And Eddie Jones to coach ABs after 2023. Even though Irish, and I hope we win it, I would put South Africa as favourites for the World Cup, but they play club in Europe.
Yeah, that's another
play
one.
top hemisphere or top Southern Hemisphere in the Rugby Championship. They're getting good all-round preparation. It's a goal line dropout here for Australia. Kicking it down to halfway.
Eligibility rules change and Ireland might lose half their squad.
On a bowler. It's nicely moving up to 40 metres out. Now it's an advantage. Paul Williams gives it for not rolling away against, I believe there was actually the number 6, Harry Wilson, who's not too happy with that result going against them. Now Danny Kerr gives it off to Marcus Smith. Quite a floaty pass. Now quick hands Farrell with the pop and go. In fact, it was Freddie Stewart. Now nice run down the wing from Freeman. Someone's got to get him.
Marcus Smith with the quick ball. Damn.
20 metres out. Johnny Hill takes it a little bit high, and Tiniela Tupou has taken him down. Irish fans deserve to celebrate after years tasting defeat, but they still need to get past the quarterfinal in a Rugby World Cup, says Carlin. Yeah, I mean, first ever win in New Zealand, though, for a series. Like, first win against the All Blacks, first win twice in a row in New Zealand, all getting ticked off. First loss of a series for New Zealand in a 3-match series on New Zealand soil since 1988.
Yeah.
And then before that, 1937.
Yeah.
What were you doing in 1937?
I was doing what I'm doing now, just doing what I do.
Yams.
Yeah.
You were harvesting yams for the good people.
Yeah.
And I remember the time All Blacks facing Ireland, and Ireland, all crowd was silent at every kick. Says there's they gave the ABs a big what for. I think they would have felt it last year in the Northern Hemisphere tour. Says Tara Man. Looks like England going to be going for the 3 points here. Courtney Law's just having a bit of a chat to Paul Williams. Maybe asking about a certain thing that's happening in the breakdown.
Bribing them.
I was a sperm cell in 1930. Were you? Jeez, that's impressive.
Well, I wasn't. I was a tree.
Yeah, in a past life.
Yeah.
An Akatiri oak, eh?
An Akatiri oak.
Also, Hamish and there says Carl. And also, I remember the time All Blacks facing Ireland and Ireland. Oh, no, I read that one. And also, Ireland has had it over us since 2016, winning the USA, says Joe. And Ireland have no excuses now to make the World Cup semi-finals. Yeah. Makes one wonder if they'll stop joking, says Sammy.
I wouldn't like that pressure. I wouldn't like it.
All the crowd at Boo in England here for this kick.
High
George looks sleepy, Hamish, says Robert. And he's had a big day. He actually worked today.
Yeah.
So he has had, I'd say, 8 hours at least of harvesting. 9. Farrell gets it over. And now England are leading 3-0. As on Ireland to have on the bench to get through group stages this time, says Rusty Andrews. And in 1988, you were a twinkle in your father's eyes, says Stephen. And as a Scot, it hurts so much to say that Marcus Smith will be world number 1, number 10 in a few years. But it is what it is. Special talent, stupid here. Like a bomb. You've said that about us here.
Number 1, number 10 in a few years, but it is. You don't like his hair, don't like his face in general. Number 1, yeah, he isn't. I remember when he was first came on the scene, he was claiming that, and he hasn't really gotten there yet, to be honest. Yeah, I think he should be, but I don't think he's just gonna. Yeah.
Working on Saturdays is no fun.
You know what's worse? Working on a Sunday.
You're doing that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, that's shit.
Okay,
It can rain on Monday, though, so they reckon the day off on Monday. But I think he's just saying that to get us to work on a Sunday. Well, you know what? When I throw a bloody yammer, you will not be laughing. I can get vicious, just like a koala. Throwing yams.
Look one way, I'm running the other way, definitely working era and training in the UK. Great advice. Here's Adrian now. Noah Lalicio goes for the little grubber. In fact, it's hunted by Sami now. It sits up for Marcus Smith. What can he do? He does the banana kick, in fact, and that's a huge amount of space in behind the Aussies.
Yeah.
I'm going to get back there. Tom Wright normally wouldn't kick too often, so instead passes it off to Reesod, who now almighty heaves it.
He just boots
That's
it,
gone to the next hemisphere. And they don't decide to take it. I suppose Hamish is technically working Saturday now, says Steve. Yeah, although I feel like my work is pretty fun, isn't it? Overall, it's not doing yams.
Shut up.
That's the thing. I probably work Saturday, Sunday, and then I get a couple of days off to regather my sleep because I actually want to pour concrete. Or I wanted to pour concrete on Monday. But
Robert says, but if you throw a yam at anyone, George, you reckon you can outrun me? I can run really quick. I'm quick. I'm really quick.
Like I've once
I'll catch you, Robert.
I thought about trying to hit him and then run, but he'd get me before I leave the bloody driveway.
Robert, I used to be a winger in rugby, Robert. I wasn't always this fat, and I've still got the speed and the agility to do it. I'll catch you just like that, Robert. You ain't going nowhere, Robert. 1989. Damn, you old.
And also we have got the DC said hi in there. Koala eats roots and leaves. And there is a strange camera angle broadcast on Xbox. Says Hanoi.
This koala roots and leaves, mate. Get out of there.
It was quite a good one from you.
You know what I mean? Drop beers. They ran out of the trees, drop from a tree, kill a whole family.
Uber quick hands off to Hunter by Sami now. Marika Kurumbiri down the wing. Tries to step. Good shot from Marcus Smith. Muscled up with him. And Aussie refused to stay offside. They have just been scattered. And this is Adrian. Now it's a penalty to England. We said that quite a bit throughout these matches, haven't we? Penalty to England.
Yeah.
Currently 20 minutes down in this contest.
Australians are slowly losing their shit. You know?
And also go the Wallabies, says Stuffs, and also he got the speed to throw and ram the yam down the throat. Says Adrian.
Oh, yeah. I can run.
See, I would try and run, but unfortunately my ankles don't work.
You're like an old man. You don't get you a walking frame.
Yeah. I want a seat in the shower. Just save the energy.
That'd be brilliant.
It would be.
I wouldn't leave the shower. Get a waterproof case for my phone, just sit there watching TikToks.
I'm sure that's not all you'd watch, is it? Now, Freddie Stewart, in fact, it's Freeman down the wing. Oh, a big shot on him. Was their arms involved in the tackle from Marika Kurumbiri? And doesn't Marcus Smith need be right back IRB Player of the Year to even be considered the number 10 fly half? What's the criteria? Says Carlin. Also, take care, go have fun. And cheers, Jada Mods and Hamish and George. Have a good one. I'm off to a braai. Get a few drinks in and off to the game later. Well, good luck to the Springboks, mate. Hopefully, no matter what, you enjoy that atmosphere, because it's going to be a massive crowd, Cape Town, for that game.
Do you think the South Africans can win?
I think so.
You're saying that because you don't want to offend the South Africans?
No, I think they've got a good crack, but Wales has certainly shown that they're a worthy opponent for this series.
Yeah.
Like, they seem to have a good way of countering the Springboks.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not they can do it enough.
Yeah.
They haven't made many changes in their lineup, so does fatigue start to go in? No more headbutts. There's Adrian there.
6.5 does the other, fatigue or experience. They shouldn't be getting fatigued that early on.
Thrown in by Jamie George straight to Laws. Now Danny Kerr, Marcus Smith.
It's a weird one for the South Africans, though, because they play the European rugby.
Stewart, under the high ball. Sorry.
And then they go into the international test, and then they go back into European rugby. So they don't really get a break.
Hooper gets it back.
Good work, Hooper. I like you.
I kept interrupting you, but there was so much happening in just that little short snippet. And George, but you work harder than Hamish, so he could offside for you. He could offside for you.
He could. You work harder than Hamish, so he could be outside. I don't know. What are you saying there, Robert?
Not too sure, but he is right about you working harder. Although, to be fair, I do a bit of work, but it's just not the same physical labour type
I'm
thing.
talking straight hours, you know.
Yeah, I know.
That's what hard work is.
I sleep in, don't I?
You do 2 hours a day and you're like, yeah, off to Farming Simulator.
No.
You know? No, you put
We
in
should
the
play.
hours, but, you know, you do it differently.
I guess my hours probably don't show as much, if that makes sense. That's a nice pass off to Tom Wright. Nick Wright on the inside on Nick White.
Oh,
ball back
sexy
on the
little-
outside. That was beautiful from the Wallabies, and Tom Wright scores.
What a lad. Oh, look at the English. They're not happy.
Mm.
They're sad.
Well, you wouldn't be when you've just been dunked on, as they'd
Yeah.
say in the US.
What was that? The English player goes up and shoves the Australian. You sourpuss.
Australia try scorers. It's Tom Wright. That was brilliant work from Nick White. Decoy runners. Marika
Marika
Korombete.
Korombete tries to not pass, gets it out there, but they're seeing the men on the inside.
This was silky. This was like
Boom.
rugby challenge. Boom,
Boom.
boom.
Yeah.
That is class.
It is a rugby game, so it will be like rugby challenge.
And that's going to be Tom Wright. Does end up scoring that try. He bumped off the initial tackle, Marika Korombete, which created that gap for Australia to be able to go straight through. And they get themselves the first try of this contest. And it was a beautiful try, says Sammy Souza. And I was like, he could be your offsider in there. And I was like, there's the bigger factor for the South Africa is that we are managing the players who play in the Euro Leagues. And Senza, don't tell us till he reacts to it as well. Says throw it. And also a beautiful try. Says Sammy Souza. And as well, to be fair, I was quite far behind in the chat. And Springboks will win. Okay, I'm out.
What's the go, though? Is you guys reckon Springboks will join Six Nations? I don't think Six Nations want them. I think South African Rugby Union want to do it, but I don't think Six Nations want them. Different time zone. I don't think they can convince the English, the Irish, and the French to move that far for the Cup. It's interesting, that.
At least the neighbours next door let me know what's going on with the Loud TV. Says Sammy Souza, oh, Aussie's got one. Says Paul, and yeah, it was a classy try as well, wasn't
It
it?
was nice. Good running rugby. Bit of shit.
Yeah, a bit of push and
Give
shove.
the English a bit of shit. That's what they do to everyone else. Noah, don't mess up, man. He's going to fuck it up.
Going to the right.
You reckon?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Noah.
Actually, I think he's going to right it and drift it round.
Yeah.
Curl it. He likes a curl. Wait for it. Oh, it's straight.
Oh, damn.
Oh, it's come back round. It
what
actually
a
went the other
lad.
way.
I like
It's gone
it.
And see, George, you're so negative. Australia going to win.
What-
Says Steve.
Listen, I want Australia to win, Steve. We all do. Okay? Let's be honest with each other, though. You know, I want Australia to win so badly. Tell Eddie Jones to shut up.
And that's definitely Red's influence.
Yeah.
Says Sammy Souza, and we can take it, says Rusty Andrews. And beautiful kick, says Tara. Yeah, very
It
nicely
truly
done by
is.
Noah Lolesio.
Nick White plays for the Brumbies, doesn't he?
He does indeed. Tom Wright plays for the Brumbies too.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Australia for the win. Oh, we're getting a drinks break.
Cool.
Must be quite warm, I'd assume.
Yeah.
And also that also
Look at the English. They're sweet and look at them.
Mm.
Oh,
it's
damn.
hot at the SCG.
Haven't seen much from Owen Farrell so far.
And how did Noah convert a try? What's happening here? He's not
He's doing all right for his goal kicking.
No, not be sorry. Says Rusty and South Africa fans don't want Six Nations just as much as the Six Nations don't want South Africa. Money will probably end in the we'll talk in the end. Says JP Meyer and Vamos Wallabies. Says Ed Vogel, and it's been since 1980 the SCG hosted rugby union. I assume that's international wise, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think the Waratahs have played there a little bit in the past, but international wise, yeah, it's been quite some time.
You know what so the last tour that England did Australia, they won. British and Irish Lions beat Australia. Ireland beat Australia last year. You know, it's an interesting. If the Australians can win this series, it's huge for them. You know. Cameron says, well, Rassie is negotiating, but the World Rugby Champions in Jeep Real 2023. Yeah, when Sanzar contract runs out, they are pushing for a 7-team or a relegation format for the Six Nations. Okay.
Because I think the big thing is, though, it would become a 7-team one if it did.
Yeah.
Because, like, Italy have a lot of guys on that governing board.
Yeah.
So they're not going to say to their own side,
Yeah.
sorry, boys, we're taking you out because we want another
Yeah.
team to develop better than you. You know?
Yeah. No, it's,
Unless Italy come to the Rugby Championship, we'd accept them.
the thing that annoys me a little bit is we've tried to establish an international calendar for international and World Rugby clubs, but it's England and France that have shut it down. It's the clubs and the international bodies that have said no.
Rob Valentini's copping quite a feel of Michael Hooper's tit right
probably
there.
go together. So when it comes to international competitions, a lot of it's up to the French and the English, and the South Africans. They need to have what they want. And unfortunately, that Australians and New Zealanders don't have as much of a say in these sorts of things as what you'd want them to. So,
Johnny, you said Johnny Wilkinson still has it over Farrell, mate. Geez, Johnny, yeah. I mean, the end of the day, I was talking about this earlier on. Does Farrell make it to the 2027 World Cup, or do you think he's gone by then?
I don't know. He's a bit fussed up, to be honest.
And money has the final say on rugby, says Steve Smith.
And it is World Rugby is it's a money game, but I don't know what you do if you're South Africa, because if all your clubs are playing in Europe, you've got to have your international side playing as well. But then does that mean that South Africa now does a free test match series against like the All Blacks at the start of the season? And then, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Sanzar rather. I actually don't like Sanzar.
Another question I've got is British and Irish Lions tour.
Yeah.
Because they'll be playing all of those opposition anyway.
Yeah.
So does it take away from that?
I don't see the point of them doing it, to be honest with you. I think there should be a side. I think instead of the British and Irish Lions, there should be a Southern Hemisphere Lions or Tigers.
Resurge does nicely, tackled hard by Farrell around the neck.
Which is the best sides from Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. But then they should take on the British and Irish Lions. That's what I think should happen. But I'm just saying.
Distractor said, boys, you guys like me, All Blacks lost, gutted as a Kiwi, but great for the views.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those ones. I actually saw your video the other day about the refereeing. I have been keeping an eye on your channel ever since I found out you made the videos. So,
what did you say?
Well, just 10 worst refereeing decisions in the world.
Oh, right.
There were some shockers in there.
Yeah.
And also, I prefer Fiji and Japan to join the comp rather than Box, seeking the loophole.
Yeah.
Says Ed.
I want Japan to get involved with Sanzar, with Rugby Championship and Super Rugby. It's a dumb idea not to. But we had them in there and they got rid of them. So.
Oh, Marika's just bumped off.
Oh, and Farrell's been pushed away.
That's a good tackle from Freddie Stewart muscling up. Marika. Also, presently, John, I meant Wilkinson. Of course, John.
Of course, John. Says
Adrian there. And it's the same problem with the ICC. England and India rules that, says Cameron.
Yeah.
Billy Vanapola, he's angry, isn't he?
Oh, they're not happy, the English. The Australians are getting good ball and they are running. He's angry. Get over it. Sock. Look at him. I'm not getting what I want. Hamish is scared.
No, I was just thinking of that first start of our live stream about the New Zealand Island game.
Yeah.
And you didn't get what you wanted from it.
What?
Did you?
From what? The last game that just happened?
Yeah.
I don't really care. I'm not. Like I said, I like being the underdog. You shut up.
And Georgia's pretty good. They have a great development happening. There will be a surprise for a lot of teams, or they will be a surprise for a lot of teams. And the question is, will Sanzar invite the Brave Blossoms and the Flying Fijians? Says Timmy Souza. I hope so. Eventually, I wonder why no one wants the Box on their competition, says Hanger Rat. Well, it's not so much don't want them. It's more of the case of
how do you fit it in?
Yeah,
They're
what
not
does it do?
Hemisphere.
What does it do to the world rugby as a whole type thing, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Because, we want them in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah.
Six Nations, it would do well for their numbers if they had them in that competition. Yeah. But it's a question of how many people would turn against the Six Nations going, this competition's gone for over 100 years.
Yeah.
And you're changing it for the sake of one team. For money, yeah.
You will notice that if things do get too gritty, the average fan of rugby will turn on them. They will. They won't support it if they feel like it's just a money-driven thing. So, yeah. Which is why I don't like Sanzar, because every decision they make is about money. They're trying to get more money, and they bring in a team, and then they scrap a team, and bring in a team, scrap a team, and,
And also get some even light on the corner of that green screen, fellas. You have to point again. When George points, it goes away for some reason. No, not out there in the camera direction.
It didn't go away.
Down. Oh, that got worse. Go down. Point. Yeah, there's, see, he's just going to have his hands up. And then it's fine. He's got a fidget spinner, which is
Fidget spinner.
currently green, so it looks like nothing's going on.
Yeah.
As the Southern Hemisphere should mash up their own Lions team after the Rugby Championship and go north every 4 years. That would be pretty cool. And also, you're onto something, mate, says chronic underachiever. Money can't buy you love and rugby, says Stephen. And yeah, I think that's the thing. People see straight through it, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they think we'll add these guys together and people will love it, but we're going to make the big bucks. And then people go, well, we don't love it. We don't want that. So
yeah,
it'd be good if they make a solid low tier. Six Nations are promoted a lot, says Hanoi. I agree. How about a Six Nations or a second Six Nations or a 14 competition? Japan, Fiji, Georgia, and then
Georgia's a bit far from the. You got to remember it's northern, southern. It's just the traveling schedule is.
But Pacific Nations Cup, they played all the games in Fiji.
Yeah.
Why don't we have it like each year you play all of the competition in one place?
Yeah.
You know, you could add a couple other Pacific Island teams, Samoa, Tonga, Romania. Get some of those guys in there. Portugal are an up-and-coming side. These guys want to end the series now. They are losing. But better luck next time, sport. Says B-Boy. And I'll say hands up, baby. Or hands up, baby, hands up. Give your heart. Give me your
My
heart.
butt hurts.
And can you see me, says Mason? We can't see you, but you can see us.
Does your butt hurt?
No.
You see their butts hurt?
Our butts or
Well,
England or Australia's
boy,
butt?
your butt boy.
Your butt.
I'm okay. I'm all right, but my butt doesn't
33
hurt,
minutes
man.
down, and England have added another 3 points on the board, and yeah, that would be cool. So your North is South every series every 4 years, and Australia itself is hopeless to try and pull out a Super Rugby. New Zealand already given them competition, so why the money grab Rugby Australia? And the thing is, like, if Australia do leave the Rugby Championship, no, sorry, not the Rugby Championship, Super Rugby, I am confident New Zealand will find a replacement. So
I don't know. I feel like
I think
I would leave Super Rugby if I was Rugby Australia, but I wouldn't lose the rugby between New Zealand and Australia. I just look at going away from Sanzar because they're too greedy. I would create a domestic rugby cup in Australia, one in New Zealand, and then every year you have the best teams from each one create a Trans-Tasman Cup. That's what I would have. And,
similar to the NRL.
Because in the NRL, you got to remember, rugby in Australia is trying to compete with the NRL. And the reason why rugby in Australia has been dead for the last how many years is because they just don't want to watch it because their teams aren't playing in Australia. And they don't win in Australia. And no Australian team wins a cup. And it's one of the reasons why rugby in New Zealand's starting to be on the downside. Because it's the Super Rugby format. We just aren't interested. We don't want to see our teams play in Argentina, you know? So I honestly do think Rugby Australia create a competition in Australia, a 15-team competition, and get the fans back in the sport. They had it going when they had Rugby Australia, Super Rugby Australia. They had it up. They had good squads. They had good, stadiums full. It was becoming more popular. An Australian team won the competition, and now they're back to where they are. And I honestly think for Rugby Australia, the popularity of the sport needs to get higher, and then they can compete for better players.
Alicio, why cut our past to Marika Corambetti currently on the halfway line here for the Wallabies. They are looking to find some form of points for the end of this first half. They have got 10 on the board, but they wouldn't mind too much more. And George makes sense about Super Rugby. And there as well says Hanoi, and also hosting Pacific Nations Cup in One Nation has always worked, although the match fixing thing is understandable, says Timmy Souza. And it's also about trying to find a window where they can all be there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, nice step from Freddie Stewart. He's got Jack Noel. Instead goes on the inside to the number 13. Guy Porter, Teniela Tupou regathers for the Wallabies, and now Noel Alessio gives it off to Samu Karevi. Tries to spin out of the tackle, Will Stewart, but he's being dragged down. Currently, it's 4 minutes left. Guys should be put to the top for these upcoming tournaments. Says Adrian. You'd take a big money payroll, wouldn't you? Big job at the top.
I'd like to be the chairman for Rugby Australia and you just do it,
And that would be good. All the best players of the Rugby Championship facing a Northern Hemisphere side probably won't happen, though, says Steve.
No.
Only on Me Rugby Challenge, eh?
What's that? Would be good. All the best players. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Six Nations team of the tournament versus Rugby Championship team of the tournament.
Yeah.
In a one-off, or in fact, in a 3-match series, because no one likes a one-off, do they? Because you don't really get
a good feeling of
And look at Munster Rugby in debt, but it's not about money, pure passion, says Paul. And then, Munster are one of those sides that will just keep on going and give you 110%. You saw how much it meant to Peter O'Mahony when Ireland were able to win. He was in tears before the game was over because he knew that was like something that he's worked for his entire career to be able to make some sort of history for Ireland. And they just did that in the New Zealand squad or New Zealand tour, I should say. And also, cheers all, says Adrian. And great feedback and comments. And also, if the top nations play each other too much, they will leave the other nations behind, as did league and cricket. And by the fans, the cricket top nations are now too far ahead for the others to catch up, says Jeff. So, you got to find that nice dynamic of, if you've got an international window, get the players playing.
It's the thing that worries me a little bit is, for a long time, the Southern Hemisphere were a lot better than the North. And so it wasn't, every time a side would tour New Zealand, you'd always go, well, the All Blacks are going to win, Wales or Ireland. Now they're actually competing and it's a lot more exciting. But I get a little bit worried now it's going the other way, where money is becoming something that is controlling, and the Northern Hemisphere teams will improve it way more than the Southern. And then we're going to see that gap, and it's going to go back to, Southern Hemisphere fans being like, well, there's no point watching because we just can't compete. And then the Northerners being like, well, we know we're going to win. I like it where it is now. So when we tried to get that international order going so they played against each other more often so that they were both, chasing each other, England and France shut it down. They shut the whole vote down. So it's sort of a little bit annoying when you see, the Northern Hemisphere get the whitewash, because you kind of don't want it to be a whitewash. You want it to be even. But when you find out that they're stopping our side from developing with them, you kind of think, well, what do you want us to do? So that's sort of annoying. And it also helps with the refs as well. Teams sort of, same rules as well. So,
38 and a half minutes through, and England just about to add some more points on the board, or are they? It's hit the post and it's come back out from Farrell. So making the mistake, and it seems like Nick White now is galloping, trying to make his way as far up the field. And we want it to be, or you want it to be competitive. Says Emerald there. And did you see O'Mahony cut off Mills' interview short? I didn't. What did he do? Did he just say, like, I'm leaving now? Or what kind of happened? And Chase Tiatia off to the Western Force. Excited to see him there. It will be interesting. The Chiefs, you'd have to wonder with Caleb Trask. I assume it's Damian McKenzie back in New Zealand now as well. I think someone mentioned. So he might end up slotting into that fullback role. The Kiwis and money becoming influential does kill the rugby passion, especially when they tried to shut down the player eligibility rules for former Tier 1 players. Here's Sammy Souza. And
it's going to be really interesting what happens with the Pacific Islands, though, with all these players they've got access to now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
I mean, Samoa, Jordan Taufua, making his way back into the side and recently
Fiji,
winning Pacific Nations Cup.
Seriously good players accessible now.
Tonga.
I reckon those sides are going to rise up a lot, I think. Because they've always produced good players, they've just never really had access to them. So.
Rolling maul. Ludlam goes down just short of the line. And England have got 10 seconds left of this first half, and it looks like they're going to throw some big men at the line. Jamie George gets driven sideways. That's a penalty advantage as well. Damn it. You pissing Sari, says Sebastian. I would think that someone drops the ball here for Saracens. Maybe.
So?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Another advantage. Passing it across. Owen Farrell after Freddie Stewart. Flat ball, and now Tommy Freeman drives so close, but so far away at the same time. Tom Wright trying to slow that down. You've got to be careful. Now Will Stewart going backwards. This will be the perfect time for England to be able to score themselves a try. Do you think D-Mac will get an AB call-up? Maybe not by... Laws reaches. No, he doesn't. He's got giraffe arms. He might as well go for it. Do giraffes have arms? They just have long legs.
They have arms.
That looks like it might be held up, but it's going to be another advantage for England. Going short side. Van Fleer goes off, and it's Freddie Stewart, the Leicester Tigers fullback, who does go over all our good coaches and players lured overseas by the money, leave us weak on numbers, says Joe. And Rugby should also have had, it's gone one moment. It also had a World Cup much earlier than 1987. Development around the world I would have started earlier as with soccer, says Jeff there. And the likes of Spain, Portugal, these countries are just starting to get into rugby now. Same with their sevens. They're actually coming a long way. The likes of
America?
USA. I've got a lot of the rugby coming up. Rugby sevens. Who's that team that's really developing at the moment from overseas that not too many people rate, but they are actually very good? Spain, for one, have been doing very nicely. There's another team that I can't quite think of off the top of my head. from maybe South America. I mean, Argentina, for one, do pretty nicely for themselves. And also try England, says, so no, sorry, that was just England. And Nick White is a brave mofo. He is. That mustache gives him superpowers. Oh. Okay, Johnny Hill was holding Samu Krivi in that breakdown. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Johnny, I don't like the guy, man. I don't like him. It's just a pain in the ass.
No, come on, Australia. Says Stephen.
It also annoys me how he keeps getting away with it. He'll cry like a bitch when he gets caught one day.
Portugal or Spain are like the Pacifica teams in the 1990s, says Simi Souza. So yeah, if they keep on getting that money invested into them, and they go, right, this is a market that we could get into.
yeah. But like again, it all becomes: do we want them to all be even internationally? Soccer's an interesting one with how players aren't eligible, like they're just where they're born. New Zealanders play for New Zealanders, Australians play for Australians, but they all play in the Premier League. You know what I mean? I kind of like that style because you see all the best players playing in the same competition. But it doesn't make England football any stronger because they just bring in the best players and they don't develop their own. So, yeah.
Did USA make it to the Rugby World Cup 2023? They have got their game a little bit later on tonight, I believe.
Yeah.
That they are going to be going head-to-head with Chile. They are 1 point ahead at the moment. Pound for pound, Nick White holds his own, says Joe Webby. Though Amish said, Ireland says, and it was Sammy Sosa, and a lot of high-level analysis, boys, make me feel bad about my channel just being dick jokes and referee abuse. People love that stuff, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, if you found a niche that people like, don't change it.
No.
Because at the end of the day, like, you know, there are certain cup of teas around the world, some green tea, herbal tea, fruit-flavored teas, but people like different things, you know? You might find someone who quite enjoys a dick joke. I know that I enjoy a dick joke. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, okay, good. It'd be sad for Chile to miss out on the soccer and the Rugby World Cup, or football and the Rugby World Cup. 50 likes, smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. Says Birdie V, and Australia putting too much pressure on themselves. Says Birdie V there, but currently, close game between these two sides. T says Distracted Sports and Money Talk. USA will play All Blacks every year, money over rugby.
I'm expecting the USA to beat the All Blacks one day.
One day.
Who knows how the All Blacks are going to go in the future? It's really weird. I feel like I reckon an eligibility rule might come out of all this. I feel like they're going to want access to the best players that are leaving.
You think?
Yeah.
The likes of Nani Glamape and whatnot, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of, when you sit there and you look at all the international guys that are playing in France and Japan, and that's what made Australia switch their rules, was they were just losing and they weren't getting access to their players. So
Irish is just nice and sharp for this match, and George looks like he's about to walk out to a boxing match, unzipping his jacket to announcement. You do look ready to go, don't you?
Yeah.
He's always ready. Oh, yeah.
Well, this is the jacket I wore to work today, so I haven't bothered cleaning it because I got work tomorrow.
I was with him when he bought that jacket, wasn't I?
Yeah. Well, no, not this one.
Oh.
I've got like 4.
Where'd that one come from?
I've got other ones. That came from the same place. That's how I knew where it was. I'm not, women go into shops and they go, I find that jacket, but I look over here. I know exactly where that is.
I looked at bow ties for a while you were trying them on. $30 they wanted
Hamish
for a bow
nearly
tie.
died walking up and down the street. He stopped breathing. The lads.
And also cue the Rocky Balboa song. Says Steve Smith, and also, cue the...
Can I go get a Coke?
If you like. Dun, 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 dun. I have no idea where it would be.
I don't know how it goes. Do you want me to get it up? No, copyright.
No, copyright on it. Oh.
I can't hear him. Da-da-da. No. It goes da-da-da. Da-da-da.
Da-da. Thank you. It's Hamish's shirt green. Can see the SCG drum. So that is George. He has got a green shirt on. He always dresses for the occasion. He's got a fidget spinner that's green. It's as if he goes, what can I wear that would mess up the whole
I guess you could say I like the colour green.
Oh, your eyeballs.
Ow.
Like invisible. And that.
They don't really watch much of the game.
Do you play Hamish? It is an electric, but I play it badly.
He doesn't play it like an electric guitar. He plays it like a normal guitar because it's not plugged up to an amp.
Why are Australia on 11?
England
on 11.
Because they scored a try, didn't they? I don't know. I can't remember. We've been talking too much shit.
Oh, yeah. Freddie Stewart scored.
Eddie Jones like, right, guys, my job's on the line. You lot better get me out here because I want a pay rise. A series against England would give me what I want. Oh. Good commentary there, George. Patting yourself in the face of the fidget spinner. BKR would have me. Mate, will not drop his fucking scoring ass.
Jesus. Tommy Freeman. No, it wasn't Freeman. It was Freddie Stewart. I know you do. You know, it's
the Irish just go, oh, this guy's good now. Hey.
Was that your Irish accent?
Yeah.
That was about as close as it could ever be.
Hey.
It's like a boy says, Rusty, and also what do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? So sophisticated.
Oh my God.
I liked it.
You need some milk.
So England won that half again, guys, says Adrian. They did indeed.
Did they?
11 points to 10.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Here comes Butterbean's love child, says Stephen. And also Freddie got in the wingers face a bit, says Annoy.
He got pushed away. He got showed up.
He plays it like a dead cat, says, yeah, it's not great.
Rusty, shut up. Right? Let him do what he wants to do.
No, that's the problem sometimes.
Adrian, did England win their half again?
You shouldn't let me do.
Shush.
Don't forget the commentating, says Jeff, yeah. Luckily, half time is upon us.
Cheers, Jeff. That's right. We've got to remember the rugby game. So,
I feel like that's slightly our problem at times. We just forget.
I'm leaving.
You wanted a Coke, didn't you? Do you want to go get a
get a Coke?
Okay.
You have that. I'm just going to go get one.
You're just at my house. Yeah, you just go get it, will you?
Do you want one?
No, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. And Broncos are winning, Kiwi lads. Awesome.
Oh, great.
The Broncos did. England, when they half again, they did.
Bulldogs. We all go for the Bulldogs with Steve Hansen as their assistant coach.
I cannot read that Stephen Bissett, unfortunately. And have you seen Thor, Love and Thunder? I haven't actually seen too many of those type movies. I've seen one superhero one, and that was Batman versus Superman. And Australia will win the game 100%, I'm sure, says Jelby. And yeah, they're going to need a big second half, although only 1 point down. And your stage, says Rusty there. And also 22 for 12 or 22-12. And Cucumber wins the Maris, says Paul. Shh, don't tell him yet. It's a surprise, hey?
You say I've got a granddad that I didn't know of?
No. I think you know your granddad's. Oh, wrong.
You did, mate.
I was going to say it. It was recent, mate.
No, you got us.
R.I.P.
Hey? You're a good guy, you know.
He was. Loved a tree.
You didn't know him.
No, I met him once.
Did you? Oh,
yeah,
you did.
Because we were shifting stuff, weren't we?
Yeah.
I was out as a pirate summoner serving a wrench or winch. And yeah, 22-12 at the moment for the Broncos. So done decently. And England must have been the better side. You Southern Fairies, says Adrian. And there's no, they did all right there.
Adrian,
England,
your shit talk's pretty bad, bruv.
Well, it's just an honest statement, wasn't it?
You're not getting to me.
Quaid, what's Quaid doing walking around in a trench coat?
He's looking for a woman
in the background.
Has he got a girlfriend?
He's looking for Sonny Bill. That's what he's.
Yeah, we do it. Dad, like a kid walking around.
To be fair, England winning is like revenge for losing in the Rugby League World Cup in 2017. I'm actually going to be doing a bit of the Rugby League World Cup and the Football World Cup. You like sports, do you?
Oh, you'll get in trouble with BKR again, Hamish. You're not allowed to.
It's all good on the Sport Channel. Should be fine.
Yes, fuck off.
I got him. I got to him, Kiwi lad, says Adrian.
You're in my head.
Have you met AB player in person? I haven't.
Adrian is in my head doing sprints currently.
My mum and dad met Kieran Reid on a plane. Because they were waiting for everyone to kind of get off the plane, right? They weren't keen to. They were 10,000 feet up, but
that's bad.
That's
that's really
good,
bad.
No. But pretty much they said to Kieran Reid because everyone was very slow. And then he was like to my dad, after you. And Dad was like, nah, it's all right. If you can't get through, we've got no show. That's what he said to him. And Kieran went, ha!
Really?
No, he didn't go ha, but he laughed.
Imagine your old man who's probably someone who criticised Kieran a bit.
No, he likes Kieran.
Probably went, hey, Kieran!
I mean, Kieran took it well.
Coming into the side here, Kieran just like, you want a rock?
And then he just fended, put the suitcase under his shoulder and just charged straight through. Australia's the better side, says Robert there. And also Quaid, it was first choice fly half, but got injured. Yeah, he ended up with a calf injury. And also we have got there, did you get Hamish a drink? Also George. He didn't, no.
Better Call Saul. I love this show. I need to watch this.
And also Legend has a completely different shape ball. Of course, Robert Tremont go. And also we've got the Hamish, but you interviewed Norm. I did, but I guess in person is the comment from Ed. So I've talked to Norm a lot. We're probably going to get to meet him in person one day, but we haven't seen him per se.
Gotta watch that.
And did Reid have a scary smile? Probably. Although he had his beard at that stage, so he didn't
Generally
look
awkward
strange. Yes, and also League is Steeden, and Union is Gilbert, if you know what I mean on ball brands. Says Sammy Souza. I have a few balls.
You have two of them, don't you? Two balls down there?
Down there?
You mean like sports balls? I only have one.
I know, I bought it for you, I got it for you. And your dog wanted a bit of it, didn't it? Cheeky bugger. Players to watch from both teams. I would say second half, there weren't really too many players who really stepped up in that first. I'd say Marika Koromberi once again, or Samu Karevi. But for my player for England, I'd probably go with either Jamo George because the rolling maul might be dangerous. And then alongside him, I might say... Who's actually in the loose forward trio? Courtney Laws. He should be dangerous, but he hasn't done too much so far. I'll go Freddie Stewart. And Coke Bro, that stuff is poison. Take it a step down and stay on the heroin. Some good advice right there. And also the Aussies getting worried, says Adrian. I don't think so. Overall, they'll be fine with only being 1 point down at this stage. Look at the All Blacks. They were down by 14, weren't they?
And it got worse.
Yeah, then it got worse. And don't wake up the All Blacks, says Ronnie Peters. And a lot of people would have gone to bed early, that is for sure. They wouldn't have even stayed up for this England versus Australia game. They won't be up for South Africa versus Wales or Argentina or Scotland. But we are going to be up for all of those games, doing the commentary on the channel. Surely the nerves are making your heads rock a bit. And there says Adrian. We're actually from New Zealand, but I can see what you're saying, you know. I kind of get
up the All Blacks.
I do get a little bit of a bobblehead effect at some stage. I just kind of sit here like this, you know. And also when Pete Samu comes on, will be a boost to Aussie. Yeah, he was pretty good on the drums earlier on, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And that intro, and also at least the All Blacks losing means the Wallabies have a chance at the Bledisloe series. Exactly.
I want the Wallabies to actually win the Bledisloe. I'm saying it. I'm going to put it out there. I want them to win the Bledisloe because it's just boring with the All Blacks winning all the time. But we're shit now, so it doesn't matter.
So all the commentary says Emerald in there as well.
When we play teams like Ireland and France, I'm going to leave comments saying, well, the All Blacks shouldn't win this. They're number 4 in the world. Underdogs. I'm just going to play that underdog card every time. We shouldn't be able to beat these guys. So number 1. The Orange fans will go, fuck you, George. All Blacks are still better. No, you're not. No, we're not. We're shit now, aren't we?
No, I mean, we're not doing the best, but, you know, and hopefully it doesn't take losing the Bledisloe to get rid of Foster. There's where we're going, man. A little bit of spraying from Rennie. We'll get the Wallabies playing like possessed men, and also New Zealand will never be criticised by me. Aussies are wimps, says Adrian.
The thing is New Zealand is a little country at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and Ireland is a little country in Europe. And to be honest, I'm not so bad with that, you know? The little teams are rising up, you know? New Zealand's always better higher up than what, you know? So
you say that, George.
Good on Ireland.
But once it happens, I guarantee you'll hate the moment with an Aussies coming in and bragging excessively about it.
Yeah.
And also Foster gone, says Ronnie, and also should have bet on the underdog tonight. Says Annoy, and also I remember getting
Foster
up
gone.
at 1:30 a.m. in the morning watching ABs play overseas, and Ireland have made men out of the Kiwis then, says Adrian. I thought you just said you never criticised New Zealand. You said that they were boys.
The coach isn't a Kiwi, is he? No,
Andy Farrell.
No, he's English.
Do you know ABs and Wallabies fixtures this year? Says Ed. I can check it out for you, Ed. We'll have a quick look at the Rugby Championship fixtures. Oh, my phone is on 1% though, so I cannot guarantee that I'll get through it.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I know. I like adding a little bit more to the heart rate, you know?
Don't do that.
Some people do drugs. I do phone charges.
You do drugs as well, don't you? He does crack.
It's loading. The Rugby Championship. It's actually not too far away, mate. Premier League coming back soon. Bunnings NPC. And New Zealand is like the Terminator in rugby. The machine will be back.
Yeah.
Will be back.
But like a lot of it, me, is winding people up. I do love getting the people going. I'm currently in a Instagram comment section rant with an Irishman.
15th of September on the Thursday is when they are playing Australia at 9:45, and then they are playing on the 24th of September. So quite a bit of time. That's not criticism. As a smaller nation, has it melted the Kiwis' hearts, says Adrian. Yeah. Also true, says Ian Rulden. Also, Seb, that's where you clip. It's so he remembers. There's Robert.
I've screenshotted people's Instagrams before, and then their team lost, and I messaged them and I go, "You're a bitch." And they're like, "No, get in there, man, get in there." Just remember that, you know. Be like the Conor McGregor trash talk.
Yeah, but then you know what happens? He gets on a losing streak, doesn't he? And then he broke something.
Right, what's that?
Conor McGregor. He's lost a lot of fights.
Yeah.
You know? He was all talk, and now he's not good.
Well, he didn't lose the last fight. He just broke his leg in half, but
that's losing.
It is losing, but it's not losing.
Kicking
He'll
off
come
now.
back though. Conor will come back, I think.
Owen's dad doing great stuff for Ireland. He certainly is. He has time for a new AB's coach. There's Ronnie there, but it's going to be taken nicely by Australia. And straight away getting the penalty at the start of the second half.
I do generally like the Irish. I think it's quite a good country. They're passionate about everything. Why don't you shut up?
I feel like...
Why don't you shut up?
It's just the fact
I just like trash talking.
The fact that you've got to clarify it 10 times will make people think that maybe you don't. You know? To be fair, he has talked very fondly of his Irish workers.
Yeah. Until they say something about the All Blacks, and I'm like, you can fuck off.
Yeah, you can go home for the day. No pay.
You know? No.
I think that was against Lewis Ludlam for going in through the side. Currently on the halfway line. It is going to be thrown in by Dave Parecki. Nicely taken. Now Michael Hooper gives it back across to Nick White. Noel Alessio. Wide pass from Marika Kuramberi. It sits up beautifully. And Tom Wright sat the man down. England.
A bit of a deep pass by Kuramberi.
And a 3-test Bledisloe. We're giving the Wallabies a chance, but it's only 2. Yeah, I don't like the 2 match.
I don't like it.
I don't know the reasoning behind it either. Do you know why they changed it, Sammy Sosa? Because I thought initially it was because they didn't like the fact that there'd be 2 matches.
Red card, just saying.
3 for the All Blacks rather than the 2. And better not talking yourself up and lose than talking yourself up and lose. Yeah. Better not talking yourself up and lose than talking yourself up and lose.
I like that about the Irish, is they're quite cocky and quite confident, and I like that about them. You know what I mean? Whether it's Conor McGregor, any other ones, but they're just generally quite confident. You know, that law of attraction when you say what you think and you say where you're going to go and then you usually do it, you know? I like that about the Irish, and I'm not afraid to say what they think. So
something else I'll mention as well, something I've noticed with the Irish is when they are talking about the game, they talk about how good their team is rather than how bad the other team is.
Yeah.
You know, rather than saying the All Blacks are terrible, which would be a fair enough statement. They go, the Irish, we're going well. And, like, you know, some teams do enjoy bad-mouthing the other team rather than talking how good their team is.
Yeah.
Because they kind of rely on other teams playing badly when you talk how bad they are rather than your team having, like, a good run. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It gives a toss about curling. We went curling. Oh, no, you didn't come, did you?
I didn't go.
No. He's scared of ice. So.
No, I'm not. I'm scared of ice. Who the fuck says that? I'm scared of ice. Where did you get that from?
I've never seen you eat an ice block, mate. So I just assumed.
I'm scared of ice. Who's scared of ice?
Probably.
You're weird.
People who get hypothermia, probably.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're scared of ice.
I was like, I know what you mean. Southern Ferries are so romantic. The Adrian South African Rugby League team is called the Rhinos. We never see league on TV nowadays. The Rugby League World Cup was televised once in 1990s. South Africa got a hiding, says Jeff. Now, nicely done. And also, not to mention league is a minor sport in South Africa anyways. Says Simi Sosa, but now Once again, it's a penalty to England. And you mean like when Jones blamed referee every time he lost or his boys lost? And there was, oh, yeah, Eddie Jones, he does like to say that something's gone wrong.
Most of the times he has blamed the ref. He hasn't blamed it on the loss, though. He has. Eddie Jones, I actually quite like him. It's the same with Rassie Erasmus. He's got balls to stand up and criticise the ref for something. And I think we need more of that because you have that whole drama that Rassie Erasmus had where referees are making bad calls, but people are too scared to say anything. I like that about Eddie Jones. I think coaches have every right to stand up and say he's not happy with that because it affects their team. I don't think I've ever heard Eddie claim that they lost because of a ref, though. People link the two of them together, though.
When Frozen becomes a horror movie.
Yeah.
There you go. And New Zealand never talked themselves up. They are a really graceful team in defeat. The Michael Cheika was an embarrassment to Australia, always an excuse for the loss. Says Steve Smith. And yeah, we try not to badmouth other teams, says Emerald there. And yeah, it is only Union, yes, says Jeff. And no one more cocky than the All Black supporters. Not even the English comes close. Sorry, Kiwi lad, but just my opinion because of that. I'm super happy Island one, says Rowan there. And yeah, I guess it depends on what group you find. So I think
Rowan, I'm from New Zealand.
A lot of countries do have those.
We're cocky and we're confident. That's what beat us against the Irish. We're too confident.
He loves the game of rugby. Eddie is so disappointed with the lack of media coverage. Says Adrian, it's nicely taken by England on the halfway line.
Rowan, I don't want to be a dip, but are you from South Africa? Rowan.
Michael Cheika was terribly for the Wallabies.
Because Rowan, if you are, just stop. Just stop.
Now Jack Noel goes back. Marika Coronberry cleaning it up. And also reason it's been shifted to September is because it clashes with league and AFL matches towards final series. Yeah. Says Robert.
Which is sad because, Rugby Australia have a big issue with trying to compete with league and AFL. Oh, here comes Adrian. Get out of it.
Kicked high from the young number 21. Oh, that's dropped by Noah Lolesio. Now, I should mention Bun Portfliet's out there on the field because of Danny Kerr's injury a little bit earlier on. We do have some Cookie fans too, though, unfortunately. There's Emerald release. Checker is with Argentina now. There's something so it's kicked him behind now. It might just end up rolling out 5 meters out from the line, though. A good kick him behind. And now Australia are going to have the line out 5 meters out from their own line. Can England get themselves a try here?
I like fidget spinners.
You do, don't you? You like fidgeting.
Yeah.
You're a fidgeter.
I'm smart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, what is it? No, what is it? I don't want to say it, but Elon Musk has autism.
Yeah. Okay. Look, Cowan Dickey going on the field for Jamie George now. And George is afraid of ice cream, ice pops, and black ice. Tough life, but proud of you for coming out, says Cole.
What? Where did you get that from?
And Portflia Ben Young's replacement at the Tigers, and who's going to score the next try? I think it's going to be Suliasi Vunivalu. There you go. That's a bold call.
I like that guy.
And All Blacks need a new coach. They have the players right. Says Ronnie, there's a little bit of, I don't know, there's something that doesn't quite click for them, isn't there?
What's that?
The coach and the players just don't seem to
it's not
gel.
I don't know if there's like a coup going on inside the All Blacks, but it's not the coach. It's not the coach. When the All Black players are getting pushed off their asses by one Irishman, it's not the coach. I would be losing my shit if I was in Foster, and I would be like, nah, I'll quit if you guys aren't going to.
Stolen by Australia. And Nick White does go down 47 minutes through this contest. The try will come in the final stages. The rucks are going to be opened up, says Adrian. And also, come on, Australia, says Ed.
Ah!
To go for the box kick, Nick White.
Boring. Come on, Nick.
I mean, at least they're box kicking from their own half, unlike the All Blacks, eh? Putting it high. Waiting for it to come down. Freddie Stewart, very safe under a high ball. He's taken it beautifully, and now he's tried to step around Michael Hooper, who has been able to drag him down low, trying to join the ruck from the English side, actually helping them keep that ball now. Ellis Genge. Oh, he's just sat down Samu Karevi, which is not something you see every day. Now, go on short side. Van Porfliet sits down Nick White there. It was actually Jack Noel. I'm with George on this one. I don't think it's completely Ian's fault. Ron is a strong Welsh name, says Colm there. Yeah. And also, hey, George, how are you, buddy? Says Michelle.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good for sure.
And Straight to Sports once again with the donation. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate the current AB squad. Has a ton of talent, but sadly the chance or the worst coaching I've seen in my life, and I'm old. We have zero chance of winning the World Cup. And Fozzie at the helm. Tattoo bet, Hamish. I mean, I don't know about a tattoo bet because, I might shave my facial hair again. That seems to be my one that I go to because it ain't permanent, is it?
Yeah.
Michael Hooper, I think he's been just booed. Well, in fact, he's at Owen Farrell. No, that's not Owen Farrell. Kind of looks like Owen, doesn't it?
Just some other Englishman having a cry.
Boom. Facial. Well, you have to ask the question. Is that a yellow card?
Yeah.
And also quick legs by all Irish forwards as the Kiwis tackles are usually OTT. And also, George, who was your favourite rugby player growing up?
Well, Manu Tuolangi.
Okay. That's so true, says Rodney. And also, how do we stop scrums effing up the game short of getting
I don't know.
Or short of getting rid of them?
I think this should just be a straight sit, give it a go. Doesn't work, carry on. Just get on with it.
Quick tap and go.
Just go. You know what I mean? Just go. There's no more of this penalty and then some random team gets the ball. I don't get it. So it just slows the whole thing down. Just keep it going.
Looks like Owen once again going to be lining up the 3 points.
Oh, Faz. Faz dog. Big dog Faz.
Mm-hmm. Go on, Fazza.
He looks like a dickhead, but
Nice.
when he kicks the ball.
You ready? He's going to sway the shoulder. Swaying.
Faz.
Stand up
Faz,
straight.
Faz.
And now it's going up. And sorry, my bet was for George. I got your names mixed up.
Oh.
You want to?
No, man. I don't gamble.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah.
I wish I had thought of that. Manu Tuolangi, I didn't expect an English player as an answer, says Sebastian.
English, he's Samoan, but he just plays for England.
With the All Blacks.
So he's not I just like the way Manu Tuolangi plays.
Mm.
He's really good player, but he's just been riddled with injuries and but like he's a player that single-handedly just threw the All Blacks in 2012. So I just really like watching him play.
Will the All Blacks have another player such as Richie McCaw or Dan Carter? I don't want to jinx it, but Will Jordan is looking like he's got the potential.
Will Jordan, is he leaving?
No.
Is he not? Was it him?
Why?
He isn't. Who did I see?
Why did he leave? We don't want him to leave. He's the only player trying.
There was a player the other day that's apparently off overseas. I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it? I don't know if it was Will Jordan. You think Will Jordan can be like the next Richard McCaw?
Well, no, because he's not a forward. But I'd say like backline wise.
You reckon?
Like when we talk about great rugby players for New Zealand.
Yeah, I don't know.
He kind of reminds me of Christian Cullen.
Bowden Barrett was the same for a long time, and now he's sort of just not around. Like it's the thing. Like Richie McCaw was different. Richie McCaw was at the top, and he never really got off. Yeah.
Kellen Dickey might have been penalised, or actually the Australians penalised for something, and George North was selfish, says Adrian, and also I hope England win it, and time is running out. And they have been matched in every department, says Adrian, and he's a Samoan. That's the advantage of having an empire of the Brits. Xavier is a great All Black, I feel.
Chinese now.
And also make Artie captain and number 7. He will really shine, says Joe. It's going to be thrown in nicely for Australia. And they have been noble.
Another player, and you guys won't like this, but was Israel Folau before he turned into a weirdo. I really liked watching him. I watched his first ever game.
Just smack yourself on the balls.
First ever game, British and Irish Lions, when he took on for the Wallabies. He scored 3 tries in that game and they won. Yeah, I've heard something. I don't know if it was Will Jordan, but there's a back that's apparently heading off overseas. It was someone that interested me. I didn't expect it. I don't know if it was Will Jordan or not. I can't remember.
Predictions for South Africa versus Wales. Ooh. I'm going to say South Africa take it, but it's going to be a tough old game.
Yeah.
Both sides going to bring in another loss for the Titans. This is atrocious. They said, Sebastian, are they further down the path than the Warriors, or are we still down there? And also, would that be such a bad thing? Rusty says half a quarter in Yesip. And really, ever said to Alangi, although he's always seems to be injured. Yeah, he comes back for one game, gets injured in 10 minutes, and then he's gone for 6 months.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Who's that?
Manu Tuolangi.
Yeah, no. I'm tempted to say she should retire, but Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably getting the most out of like the English health plan in terms of like what you can get for the rehab and like everything like that. He's probably going to be, I want to say a well-oiled machine one day, but I think he's going to need oil to work.
There's something definitely not right with him.
Mm.
His legs or something.
Was it you who said that he might be on roids? Was that you?
It was me, not roids. I've always suspected that some of the Pacific Islanders have done stuff, not in England, but, you know, when they learn to play rugby, they do something. Because there's a lot of it going on with the Pacific Islanders where they get over an injury very quickly and everyone's a little bit like, oh, okay. And then I don't know, roids or some Pacific Island thing, but I don't know, that's just me being racist.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I would like to think they don't do anything behind the scenes, but I don't know.
And also, do you think the Scots will take the W? I think they've got a very good chance of winning over Argentina after that last performance we saw, and even if Australia lose or win, Australia media will be talking about the All Blacks, says Jamie Orenell. And also smell a chance for the Wallabies. And also favourite rugby player growing up would be King Dan Carter. He was in a different league and no one has ever come close.
Yeah.
I think Colin Slade's better than Dan Carter. No, that's a joke. No one will know who that is, will they? You know, Colin. I know Colin Slade. Sorry, that was a dumb question. He played for the Satyrs as well. Marcus Smith, he's going fast.
Oh, damn, my boy
he's running.
He's
running. He scores.
Flying up the hills.
And Marcus Smith, he says up here to the Wallabies crowd. He says, who you like now? Who's got a shit haircut now? He's gone,
Now I dropped my phone.
Yeah. Warriors are 12th famous.
Annoys me. Aussie, that stupid to say that to Kiwis. So
we're actually above the Titans for the Warriors. That's impressive. Right, that's going to be the try for Marcus Smith. Goes through. Nicely done by England. And like they're saying, a turning point in this test match when he decides that he wants to start going. It was a mistake from one fly half, went to the other, and then it was going straight through. And will be a Northern Hemisphere clean sweep series. This has never happened before. Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
It'll be huge. And watch the ABs live at the gym. Turning to work out 2 hours. A fake dumbbell curl. Smart. Stretching's so important. You could stretch for half an hour and no one would question it. They'd be like, oh, he's just warming up.
Yeah.
Then you could lift one weight and then be like, whoa, done. I'm swole.
Yeah.
I'm quite the swole lad, aren't I, George? Hardly fit into my clothes because my muscles are too bulky.
Oh, no.
I don't even know if I've got a muscle.
Yeah.
55 minutes through. And a Hamish won between the All Blacks and Ireland match today. It was, in the end, Ireland who were able to get themselves a win at OMG. It's a bloodbath. And Steve Smith, who are the Warriors? And this is David
that's brilliant. Did you hear that?
What happened?
The guy, there's also a mic next to the stands. And there's an Australian going, oh, Farrell's like a fucking... Oh, did you not hear it? You would have heard it.
I was listening to myself. It's gone over. Would you rather win a back-to-back premiership without making an international debut or debut for international but never won a premiership? Ooh.
I want a back-to-back premiership. It's an interesting one, isn't it? A lot of players that leave New Zealand and Australia go over and they miss it. They miss the international because it's that challenge. But
and for how many matches playing at Test Series in rugby and which team top of the table at this stage? So Ireland.
The scoreboard's delayed again.
Are at the top. Cheers, George. Yeah, good. Here we go. Sorted it right out, didn't we? It's all good, bud.
Starting to be a bit of a big lead for the English here.
And also, for some reason, your scoreboard is a little delayed. Says Sammy, so was a bit slow on it. Right, and we still got a Steve Smith because we're going to have to test out our theory, Steve. If you are here, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Research taking it nicely.
What's that?
Well, you find out, won't you?
What does he do?
No, he won't do anything, but we'll do something.
Okay.
We're going to take all our clothes at night.
I'm not doing that.
57 minutes through. Nice seller, the dummy from Hunter Paisami, and looked like Northerners are going to win the weekend in the series. Here's 123 MS, and also Drew David says Robert and John Earls, one of the great captains, and also friendly, says Jack there. But yeah, we have quite a few matches. That's nicely done by Nick Frost. Dragged down a good tackle made.
Keep it going.
I leave Luke Cowan, Dickie. Oh, no, it's a juggle from Alan Alalatoa. His brother just got himself a Pacific Nations Cup not too long ago.
Is it just me, or does it appear the Northern Hemisphere ball handling skills just seem to be a lot better?
Yeah.
All Blacks and Wallabies, just so bad. It's amazing to see how just our basic skills have gotten that. Look, you know? Yeah, it's amazing to see.
Do you think that's because we concentrate so hard on like kind of different attacking plays and whatnot?
No,
but then it's not even really like set pieces or anything. And what is the score, lads? It is currently sitting 21-10 in favour of the English, and England are winning. Here's Adrian.
Well, I reckon that's why New Zealand's so good. Because they, over the past...
That little chuckle.
Kids learn, basic catching, passing, And they reckon just the general... They make nothing out of something. Or make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see the All Blacks just struggling with just basic skills.
And Northern Hemisphere forwards, monsters ours, and also it would be radical rust, but we shouldn't be afraid of change. There's half a quarter, and also, I'm still here, just a bit sulky. Australia is losing, says Steve. We're going to change it,
Australia
Steve.
just destroyed England in a scrum.
There we go. Now, you might not notice too much of a difference, but I've done something. Yeah, you saw it straight away, didn't you? Yeah, Kieran's up there. Kieran was the All Blacks turning factor until he wasn't. So he's going to get the Australians a little bit. And Kiwi lads, do you also do league? We do indeed. We did State of Origin, myself and my dad. It is on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, which is actually, I hope that link, that's either the sport or the gaming channel. Be sure to check that out. And AB's a good counter-attackers. Take that away. And the game is even, says Joe Webby. Australia now kicking for the corner. Next Rugby World Cup is going to be exciting, says James Crude. It certainly is. The only sucky thing about it is it's Northern Hemisphere time zone. So we will have to watch it at about 3 a.m. But we're going to do all the games anyway, aren't we? Why?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I've got to be at work and
yeah,
not far. How many hours is it?
I'll have to pay you a whole heap of money, won't I?
A lot of money. A lot of money.
Anyway, the rise of Northern Hemisphere Rugby is good for the sport, and you're slightly ahead of my neighbours, says Sammy Souza. Yeah, but Nick White has kicked that one for the corner, and Nick White will now be going off field. Tate McDermott coming out there. I like to call him the sniper.
Yeah.
Because he,
do you like him?
He snipes around the side of the
you
breakdowns
like the
very
much?
well. And carrying to the rescue, says Steve Smith. I don't mind the Reds. Stolen. Well, not stolen, taken by Australia.
Like
that's been dragged down by England. Very nicely done. Trying to get the rolling ball going. That ball doesn't look like it's going to get out of there, or does it? Now he wants it. Johnny Hill tries to keep it on their side. It looks like their board's now going to be England's scrum. Marcus Smith goes on spanking. That's what he did to Ollie Chisholm.
Skills. So the All Blacks make that same mistake. Get it right. And
impact players make or break Australia. Did you see Marcus Smith? He went in with an aggressive spank on Chisholm's bottom.
Oh, he's gay, isn't he?
No, he's got a very attractive girlfriend.
Does he? She's probably a dude. I'd do her if she's a woman.
I thought you were going to say, I'd do her if she's a dude.
Oh, I might.
Get in, Marcus, says Sebastian. Some of the UFC teams need a different slant on their game style.
Yeah, no, they need to change it up because I think a lot of sides. I was talking about this with my mum.
Yeah.
I was talking about how Ireland know how to get the All Blacks not to. In the first game, New Zealand were running. You know what I mean? They were just quick. So the Irish and the English know how to shut that down by winning the ball at the breakdown, slowing it down at the breakdown. So they know how to shut down these teams that run the ball.
Then Portflet kicks it into touch. And now it will be an Australian line out on the 22. Well said, Bianca. Say it again. Here's Asian. And also we have got there. Does Oz need more leagueies to do better? Says annoying. I mean, speaking of leagueies, as that has been called there, Suliasi Vunivalu won't be too far off making his way out onto the park. I think he will end up replacing Tom Wright.
Yeah.
Even though he scored the try earlier on, I think they will leave Marika Conorbidi out there a little bit longer.
Australia do really need to score quite soon if they're going to have any chance of winning this.
And then Marcus has put the body on the line in this series. He is indeed. And predictable, aren't they? Says Sammy Souza, but Courtney Laws looks like he's got some sort of injury. Northerners have evolved the modern game. Southerners have not. There's 1, 2, 3 MS. They're saying a lot of great test matches at the SCG. I've actually watched a game of AFL from the SCG. It was Hawthorn taking on the Sydney Swans. And in the end, Hawthorn got themselves the win. One guy was really rubbing it into his friend. His friend wanted to smack him, but he just knew that he shouldn't because he was his friend. But he was like poking him. He's going like, ha, Hawthorn won. And you would have smacked me by then if we weren't doing an example, wouldn't you?
grab your dick and rip it off.
You say you grab my dick?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
And rip it off.
Yeah, but you'd have to grab it to do that.
No, I might just get some pliers.
That's a better idea.
The thing about the Northerners, I'm actually excited though. You know, we're in the position that they were in. I'm excited for the Southern Hemisphere to be on the downside and actually have to figure out where to go. No, I like it. I like it. You know, we're the underdogs. I like being the underdog.
Up. Now, Angus Bell goes off to Lulusio. Short border Hunter Paisami. Now McDermott goes back. Vellatini, good carry forward from the Brumbies, number 8. McDermott with a good clean out there as well. Now Samu Karevi runs hard and high just like he will at the 7s at the Commonwealth Games. Ball bounces out. Nice work from Tate McDermott to keep that one on the side. Of Jordan Hill straight over the top of the ball. In fact, it's Lewis Ludlam. He's given away the penalty.
You see the way England gets someone in there every time? They're trying to slow it down. They're trying to get their hands on the ball and slow it down. It's a strategy that the Northern Hemisphere sides have won.
Sebastian's got a point.
What's that?
Here's the audacity to call Marcus gay. I was like, did I just hear
what you gonna do about it? Hey, gay.
Grabbing certain man bits. He did say he would grab my man bits, not mum.
Well, listen, all right, I am a man.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus Smith, he looked like a woman.
And also, George definitely living up to the definition of a koala in terms of being cuddly, but easily cranky. So
grabbing certain male bits is not mum. No, who said that?
You.
No, put words in my mouth. I don't know about you.
As long as that's the only thing you try and
Shush, you're trying to watch the rugby. Whoa,
rolling ball. Coming up for the Wallabies.
Anywhere.
It's going slightly backwards.
It's stuck. Someone give it a push.
Marcus Smith right on the line of whether he's offside or onside.
My
Great low tackle.
Get in there.
Once again, Lewis Ludlam trying to get over the ball.
Vunipola off
now,
the feet.
Michael Hooper. It's another carry forward.
Vunipola off the feet again. Australia pushes.
Australia, Matt Phillip taking down Hills trying to steal it. He's offside.
He's offside. Get out of it.
Off to beat Samu.
Bambo twat.
Once again, brilliantly defended by the English. Now Tate McDermott tries to step. He hasn't quite worked out there. Now that's not releasing from Billy Vunipola. And now Courtney Laws is just
lying on the ball.
There's a lot of little infringements happening.
Yeah. And I have noticed this a long time. I'm telling you now, it's not fair.
Getting closer. And if England wins, I'm going to poop without wiping my ass.
I would. Bianca. What the fuck?
What? No. That wasn't Bianca. That was James.
Oh, that was James.
Sorry, Bianca. He meant.
How do you guys pronounce Vunipola?
Vunipola.
I call
Are you
him
more of an E?
BV? BV?
Celtic Islands are known for sleeping lots and all. I have an STDs. George is only known for half of that.
That would be very itchy, James.
England are winning. Says Adrian now. Back to Nola Lucio.
Oh,
ball
my
on
boy.
the outside to Pete Samu looking for the corner. Great defense from Freddie Stewart, but he keeps the ball alive. Now it's gone out and it's gone back. Vunipola. So that also. We have got Northern Hemisphere. Clean sweep. Come on, Wales, says Floyd Kingy. And come on, clean sweep, says Adrian. There as well. That's great defense from Freddie Stewart. He is class. And also, it must be the first in history where the South has been considered the underdogs. We mustn't say such words, George. I forbid it.
No, I like it. You know, years ago when the Northern Hemisphere took their sides and they were like, right, we want to become the world's best sides. And they did. They invested lots of money and they did it. Now here they are. France and Ireland and England. Now we've got to do the same thing. And I look forward to it. The rise of the Southern Hemisphere.
Everyone love when the underdogs win. But in Oz, rugby is losing popularity. South Africa is losing all young ones to North. I think game may die in the South.
The Springboks won't get weaker, though, to them losing them to the North because they're still born in South Africa. They'll still play for South Africa because the eligibility rules. It's just rugby in South Africa in terms of the competitions will get weaker. Same with New Zealand and Australia.
Rolling more advantage. Courtney Laws had to get out of there. He did not. And now Australia, it's been collapsed. This is going to be close to a yellow card, I think, relatively soon for England. Yeah. They keep on infringing just in front.
If it was Australia, it would be.
There's a big clean out from Alan Alatoa. Now back to Angus Bell. England's defence has been defensively sound, though. Throughout the early stages, now Michael Hooper tries to go through. That was no release from Ollie Chesham. Now, couple metres out now. Falafanga has gone in and scored the try. Do you like rugby, do you?
Yes, all right. Yeah. Oh, JP, I was also thinking just then when I was dozing off, it will also make the North weaker with all the South Africans going to the Northern Hemisphere because it doesn't make them any stronger. What's made France so strong is they invested a lot back in 2015, back in 2011. They were investing, and now we're only just seeing the end result of that. Right now, we're seeing the Australians do the same thing. When they have the World Cup in Australia, we might see the Wallabies be back to number one. And then all the Northern Hemisphere will say, this is bullshit.
Qualifying, doing brilliantly. Bollocks, says Sebastian. And also, come on, Oz, says Ed. And also, what's left on the clock, says Rusty Andrews. Currently, we have got another 14 minutes left of the channel, but I disagreed with 90% of George's takes. We need some sort of cross-channel, non-monetary bet in there as well. So he wants some sort of, he wants your hair, mate. He wants your hair.
Why do you want my hair? Do I need to follow George's takes? What are we? Oh, yeah.
Rugby is not dying. Northern Hemisphere teams are beating Southern Hemisphere teams, says Belarus. And also, come on, Aussie, says Birdie V. And England should change their name to the Bollocks, says Scrumptious. I mean, I don't know whether or not it would catch on. That kid's happy. And also, nothing is dying in the South. When the North just turned it up a couple notches, and yes, Floyd Kingy, Northern are taking over. Northern Rugby is good at the moment, says Floyd Kingy there as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like they're saying, 4 penalties in a row against England, possibly a yellow card around the corner if they aren't careful. Great tackle from Jack Noel, taking down Marika Korombedi straight away. Only 4 points difference between these two sides. Kick downfield, and Reece Hodge's given that an almighty heave, isn't he? Like he always does. And also, what is going on with the All Blacks? I've never seen them play this bad, says Turbo Tom. I think handling errors are a big problem.
Southern Hemisphere shit now, isn't it?
And also the breakdown, they seem to really be struggling.
Better now.
Kick distance, 34.9 meters. Well, there's no chance you should check it out. You should check out Southern School Rugby, says High Tech there.
What was that? What did Adrian say?
He said Northern Hemisphere Rugby is better.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, the Aussies.
No, that's the interesting thing. I really enjoy looking at what schoolboy and under-20s is like in countries because that gives you a really good indication of what the future is going to be like. I think Australia is going to be a world superpower. I really do because they're investing a lot. They've had, well, the under-20s didn't do so well the other day, but still, they have had some pretty good, but they need to figure out a way to get more guys into union. League is smashing them when it comes to the grassroots. Scouts, they just can't compete. Same with AFL. They just can't compete. But they need to make rugby in Australia more popular to be able to compete. And I think leaving Super Rugby, that's it. I think they need... I don't like Super Rugby. I generally do not like Sanzar. They ruin it. The stupid rules.
Disclaimer, these are all George's statements and opinions. The Kiwi lads are in no way incorporated with this. Please do not copyright strike us, Sanzar. Love you, brothers. Don't take it personally, George. Just like it takes. Great entertaining delivery. You're great on the tube, champion.
Cheers.
And the World Cup could genuinely be the best ever. The nations are pretty level at the moment. Well said. Promote the youngsters better. A better game. Well said, says Adrian. And come on, England, and hi all the way from joining the stream from Orlando, Florida. And also the Vunipola brothers are New Zealand and Australian born. There's Bianca. Nice ball out to Tom Wright. Ball on the inside to Leonard Cattell. Back out to Tom Wright. Similar to what we saw for the first try. He saw the dummy. He didn't quite get that offload. Jumping all over it. Almost stolen by Putfiat. Now, Matt Phillip, that was Australia's chance. They needed to keep on passing that ball, though, and go for that counter-attack because now England's line, they're set, and they will be dangerous. Now, Pete Samu sells the dummy, goes through. Great low tackle made by Marco Vunipola. Literally, that was textbook of that man. So once again, going forward, we've got the Bulls of South Africa beat Leinster, which was 12-13 Irish players. Jack White knows how to beat Ireland. Sees his pocket's going to be kicked to mine. It's just gone into touch. And now England.
69th minute. 10 minutes to go. More than that.
All to play for. Chances not taken, says Adrian. And there, see that one for Leonard Cattell. In fact, Tom Wright here needed to cut out past the McDermott. Although Luke Cowan Dickey was lurking. Which I think might have been what he saw in Boxley and Sanzar improved our franchise games. Says I did and gap is pretty close between the tier 1 and tier 2 these days.
But like who knows? Fiji and Samoa and Tonga could all rise up because they're getting access to all their best players now. And we all know how much the Pacific Islanders just breed talent. You know what I mean? So who knows what could happen here? You know, a lot of us could be surprised when Fiji start knocking off some of these big sides. And I'll support them every way because these little Pacific Island teams, they support every other country with their talent, and now they're finally taking it back and saying we want our teams back. So,
and is Australia in position? They will now have themselves a line out against them. It will be England who have got it, and they need the Campese no-look pass from 91 there. And also my older brother is in South Africa watching the game against Wales. It's going to be an awesome game, that is for sure. And also could see 4 top teams being from the north in the next Rugby World Cup. I hope they are in a way, because that means, or actually, if they are, I hope the TAB recognise that and then have the odds a lot higher for the Southern Hemisphere. Even though we don't bet, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will try and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And also Fiji are very much in all of our hearts. My older brother, I know I read that one. But yeah, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, all those teams, like whenever we see them in the community on our YouTube channel, it's always they support, for one, their team, but then they also just support rugby in general type thing.
Yeah.
Which is awesome to see. And the Box have no other countries' players in the national team, says Hangarat. And also Fiji and Samoa are usual underdogs. Just have to wait for Tonga to qualify first by beating Hong Kong now, and they'll be stacked with stars like Kipu.
Yeah, that's right.
Sammy Sosa. And also, you're right, but they lost half of their stars in the off-season. There's 1, 2, 3 MS, and also Fiji, and them could have risen up ages ago. AB's not playing Sansa, seen them lose more than 10, or more of 10 than not. And twice against the Irish.
I want Fiji to rise up. I think they play really exciting rugby, and I want the Pacific Islanders to become, big teams, world rankings wise.
Well, I've got a big one. Samoa, I think, are on the up.
Yeah, I think all of those sides are.
The coach that they've got has really turned them around in the last little while, winning the Pacific Nations Cup.
Yep.
Also doing brilliantly in sevens under the chiropractor, Brian Lima.
No, I honestly think that some of these bigger sides, like All Blacks, England, these guys could one day get very surprised by, Fiji and Samoa and Tonga.
Oh, Hooper's been bent in half. He became an English sandwich. He was the cheese in the middle, wasn't he?
I like cheese.
You do, don't you? England, says Jada. And also Australia need to try to win at England, and the Pacifica teams is why it's been 26 years overdue in Super Rugby. Says Sammy Sosa and Go England, says Rugby scored now. Looking off to the left-hand side, Rob Valentini, their sevens record is internationally undisputed. And the Islanders, that is, says Hadida. That's a penalty to England.
Oh, yeah. The Islanders just have talent, though. They just have players coming out of the woodwork. Natural-born players. And it's exciting. And it's, now that the rules have changed, they now have access to those players. So, you're saying, who is it? Mananu, going to go play for Samoa, is it?
Tonga, I think.
Tonga, Samoa, where's he from?
Right. Oh, no, he might be Samoan.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Don't know. And also, worst All Black team since 1998, says Floyd Kingy. And also, we have got the I put a curse on Australia because they have too many boosters, says Chris Brown in there as well. And also, DFL kind of hypocritical, saying you want Samoa and other Pacific Islander teams to do well now, and New Zealand end up gobbling their best players, says Com. Although,
like the Islanders, they actually send most of their best talent to Europe now and Japan. And then they come back and they play for the international side, and then the international side does really well. So that's what I want to see. New Zealand won't work because we pull in a lot of theirs, but I want those sides to rise up and say we want our talent back. So
I think the eligibility was long overdue for other players being able to play, because the likes of Jordan Taufua, he's had, a good 5, if not longer, years since playing international rugby, and he should be allowed to play for Samoa. Which now he is doing brilliantly. For them. And also, first time I heard you say Hooper, he's not the same player anymore. Still good, though. Says Joe Webby, and ironically, Fiji have more depth compared to the other two nations. Says Sammy Sosa there, and Panland Pancake plus England, and England 21 to 17. And also, All Blacks lose sometimes 10 years at a time. Says Ronnie Peters, and also we were there right on the money, sir. Says Distractor Sports for Floyd Kingy. And who won the Ireland versus New Zealand game? It was Ireland to take out that win and the series. Tackles made 132 by England compared to 62 of Australia. So that's probably why we haven't said Hooper's name as much as normal, just because they haven't really had a lot of defending to really do.
Australia's ball, though, right halfway.
Uh-huh.
What do you reckon's going to happen here? Remember, if they get a try, they win.
And also, Sevu Reece is one of the best rugby players from the Pacific Islands, says James Cruz. Yeah, there's quite a few players over history that you could look at.
But I don't know
absolutely brilliant.
How it works from, Australia and New Zealand, they bring in a lot of Pacific Islanders into their school system. I don't know how it's going to work if that player gets his skills, gets a scholarship, gets a Super Rugby, but then plays for CG. Is there going to have to be a transfer system where a team or a country gets a reward for, bringing these players up? Because they can do it in Fiji and the Pacific Islands, but they don't have the funds and the resources. So that's why a lot of countries like Australia and New Zealand and England and a lot of these other places bring in a lot of players because they're there and they want the opportunity. But what does New Zealand Rugby Union do when most of them go back to their home country and play for them? So,
45 metres out for Australia once again, 74 minutes through. Going to come down to the wire by the looks of that, and also what team is the ball. So it is currently in the hands of Australia. 40 metres out, twice as many tackles, quite the stat. And as play stops, says Dion. It had for a second, but the scrum now has been done. And the Aussies are back on attack. They've rushed up on Hooper again. Courtney Moore's arms are so long.
Deep pass.
Now, Ikutel. And they're recently making his way out onto the field. I understand that the Pacific Islanders leave it 12-15. Get a better standard of life. It's not as cut and dry as others say, says Colm there. Because it's like, Peter Gasoakola had the opportunity to play for Fiji, but he turned it down to one day hope to play for the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And he got there in the end. So, they do get offered the chance, but they normally turn it down. And it's a shame because it's the money side of things that the Pacific Islands can't offer enough funds to keep him around. Samu Karevi, wide pass out to Rod Leona, ball on the inside for Lau Whainga'a. Just bulldozes his way over top of Marcus Smith.
England.
Now, McDermott, the crowd are starting to get behind Aussie at the MCG, or the SCG, different state. And Hamish, you are a better pundit than Sir J.K. Marshall in the breakdown guests. They don't even know what's happening in the URC, etc. You are the professional, says Spock. Do appreciate that. That's the thing. I love the URC. I love top 14 Gallagher Premiership. Just because you get to see those players that you forgot about and also get to see for the internationals. I'd have no show naming all of these players if I hadn't been watching URC and the Premiership.
I prefer watching Premiership Rugby more than I do Super Rugby.
I've gone the Pollard's taken down like he's just been suplexed. He stayed down for a little bit longer. And also we have got there is that YouTube ruggers make more sense than those so-called analysts. And also Ireland or England wins. Win in the betting, says it was Ben, and also England, says Sebastian. Michael Hooper around the side trying to get the turnover. Billy Vanapola and Marco both working hard. That was a great pickup from Cotton Betty. Hardly even stopped to get down.
Didn't really get me.
Now, penalty to England.
Ball, so
I've said that a lot today.
Really.
But the New Zealand do a lot of poaching and then point to the Irish, non-Irish born players as being unfair. Just be fair about how life really works. And as well says Colm. And there, I didn't agree with them interviewing James Lowe after every single game he played in. Just because every single time they were like, so you were in New Zealand for quite some time. Yeah. And every single time they were like, this is monumental because you've just beaten your home team.
Is Bundyaki born in New Zealand though?
He is, yes.
Is he? Oh.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones that some people do get a bit, like you said, a bit of the hypocrisy for it, saying like,
but then those guys didn't apply their trade in Irish schoolboy rugby though, did they? They did it in New Zealand, went over to Ireland to get the international record because they couldn't do it in New Zealand. If they did the whole system in Ireland, you wouldn't feel so bad. But, it's like one of our New Zealand players leaving New Zealand going to France. 5 years later, they play for France and they beat the All Blacks. But they got all their skills in New Zealand. And because they didn't make it in New Zealand, they're playing for France. So I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of other people are sort of a little bit criticism towards Aki and Lowe. I think they made Ireland better. I don't really have an issue with them. They run the ball. I love Aki. It's the same reason why I love Tuolangi. And if they can't do it in New Zealand, go somewhere else. But I think that's why a lot of people are kind of like, nah, I'm not keen on that because they just ditched because...
Suliasi Vunivalu may not get a debut here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the first half.
And grass rules rugby, that's why rugby's so good, says Ronnie. And is it over yet? Not quite. It says 84 minutes, which is always weird because it's 76, so they are a little bit too far. My name's not Dave, says, I guess not Dave. And both Chiefs players, says Joe Webby, and also Hamish Bro, England closed in the victory. They're very close. At the moment, the Big V8 show said he will. And they're, oh, yes. Okay.
Put him
3
on.
minutes.
Give
3
him the
minutes.
ball.
See what he can do for
Probably
himself.
nothing, because he won't get the ball.
No, it's not a lot of
I
time
don't really
left.
see the point in bringing him on, to be honest with you.
Okay, he's going on for Marika Korombiti.
He's played for them before, hasn't he?
No,
Is he not?
he is not. But I learned that it was actually, because I was thinking he was injured in that game last year against France.
Yeah.
But it was actually Tavita Dalgunu who got injured.
Oh,
And then Marika Korombiti.
is the one that I get confused with.
Yeah. And your timer is off. I say, yeah, I have stopped it so that it doesn't go any higher than 84 because it's quite high. As England got the ball, they certainly do. Currently 45 metres out from the Australian line with 3 minutes on the clock. All they need is just hang on to it. But that's not the point, George. The criticism is you pick them at a young age and steal them from their real original country, says Colm. And there as well.
Disagree, but...
And it's a debut for Vunivalu. Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how he goes for the last little moment. Then Portfliet puts a high. Suliasi Vunivalu wasn't able to get to it as he was checked by, I believe that was Nick Ezekwe. Gone on his way there. Australia trying to get this ball back now. Van Portfliet. They're just kicking it in behind, trying to get that territory game going for England.
You know,
Forcing them back a little bit further.
Colm, I would say they look for an opportunity in New Zealand and Australia. But if they have that opportunity in their home nation, they won't come over here. So,
okay, Eddie Jones is swearing. Another channel dropped the stream. So switch to you guys. Poor loser as well. Says my name's not Dave. Who else was doing this game? So I assume it's an Australian, maybe? And also thanks for G. Maybe see you in the bot game. And at least Ireland take players you guys deem not good enough. And with the Irish provinces grow them into better players as well. And England are showing great heart, says Adrian. I hope Pacific Nation go places or go past the group stage. And then Rugby World Cup will force to invest more into their countries. Vunivalu, nice run forward.
Give him the ball.
International rugby. There's all, but now going down once again. And South Africa's rugby union is in a lot of financial trouble. That's why a lot of their players play abroad. Yeah. Says Paul Ryan, which is a shame because I feel like now that they're in the URC, it would be great to see a lot more money being put into the South African sides because the Curry Cup is entertaining. As ever, really, the way that it does go. That's going to be the tackle release. Currently 1 minute left on the clock now. Now James Slipper has the carry. If England get the penalty, you'd have to say they'll probably be able to close out this game from here. Looked like they were offside there, England. But the rush defence now. Right goes off to Samu Karevi once again. Has a hard run. Courtney Laws tries to get on the ball. Those hands were on the ground and they are long as... Oh, that for me was probably a penalty. But instead, Van Portfliet getting close. Yeah, his hands were slightly down. As I say, he dropped the stream with actual footage with 5 minutes to go. Then I switch to you guys, says Dave. And then, not Dave. And also it's about the opportunities for the young players. They have no problem with it, but the Kiwis win or will then point to low. And like you're a Kiwi in green, says close to England. And what could have been a penalty to the Australians just a little bit further back has become a good attacking opportunity. And also, while the rand currency currently or cannot compete with the pound and the euro, no one in their right mind will say no to millions, euros or pounds. Says Cameron, and also who's half his ball, and it is a goal line dropout now for Australia after holding up the defender. And South Africa versus Wales is going to be an absolutely awesome match to see. Kick tie. And it's going to be not quite taken by Vunivalu, I don't believe. I think it's on the side of England, although it looks like Australia wanting it. The ball is available. One last crack for them, and they do get the scrum. Oh, do we have time for the scrum? England have got their hands out saying, yes, boy, we have won this game. Owen Farrell is becoming a starfish. He is hanging on. He wants to be an umpire in the cricket, calling it a wide as well, Owen Farrell. They're checking the time. Hooter's gone before the whistle. That is full time, and England win the series in Australia. And yes, England. Well done, England, says Tractor Sports in England. And there says Jada. So the winner of the series goes to England, Northern Hemisphere 2-0 the moment.
Yeah, we do.
But we have actually got...
supporting the wrong side, Hamish.
Am I? Oh, no, you've dropped your thing. Yeah. Right, we've got a little bit of a nice, exciting gift for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually going to be doing a quick post-match review with Rugby Itch. You want to meet Rugby Itch? Have you met him before? Give him a go, will you? Nah, he's all right. Rugby Itch, he's a good bloke. We've done a lot of videos with him in the past, and we will send him a link now. Come on to the channel for a little bit of a post-match review, and that will involve the match
1-1.
between New Zealand and Ireland, as well as a little bit of a post-match review. I assume he's still available to do it anyway. I haven't heard anything yet, so we assume the best. And mate, this is great, says Sebastian. And also another win for the North, and England take the series. Well done, England. It's over. Yeah, wham, yam, thank you, boom, says Adrian. And congrats, England, says Michelle there. And great win against the Aussies onslaught last 15 minutes. I'm just going to quickly take away the Kieran emoji because he didn't quite do his job. He got the try, one try. He seems to have that kind of thing, but he doesn't quite get the next one in the process. So what we're quickly going to do is we're also going to create another banner, and that will be Australia 17 and England 21. There you go.
Yeah, go subscribe to the Kiwi Lads gaming channel as well, guys.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, go on then.
And also not going to show off. Well played, Aussies. Thank you, Kiwi Lads. Says Adrian, and also Eddie is a good coach after all. Says an oi. And also great win against the Aussie onslaught last 15 minutes. And thanks, Hamish Bro and George. Nice company for this game.
Cheers.
Still more to come. There certainly is. We are going to be doing South Africa versus Wales a little bit later on tonight. Then after that, I have got that next match between Argentina and Scotland. Just going to be an absolutely awesome affair. And Aussies can't beat England at home over 3 games. They'll have no chance against New Zealand, South Africa, Wales, or Ireland. Love your chat over the last 10 minutes. Like and subscribe. Says my name's not Dave. Is your name actually Dave, though? Can I know that before we
His
end the live
name's
stream?
not Dave.
Yeah, but it says not Dave. But what is his name?
It's not Dave.
Is it David? Is it a D on the end?
That means Eddie has to stay. Do the English want Eddie to leave?
Yeah.
Even if they've won?
It sounds like it a little bit.
Okay. Interesting.
Overall. Right. I've got to quickly check to see if Rugby Itch is available.
I have to go.
Does it seem like the plan?
We'll see how we get on, but there might be a chance this might happen without me. You know?
Mm-hmm. There we go. I've just sent a message. I think he's about to show up, so you might need your headphones again very quickly. We'll only be going for 5 or 10 minutes, mate.
I certainly hope so.
You know?
I've got work
and also, Gigi,
hours.
cheers, Kiwi Lad, says Steve. So thank you very much, Steve. Hugely appreciate it. You're being here once again, mate. Now, the question, I guess, remains, how many people are staying up for South Africa versus Wales? It's a little bit later on in the evening. And throw your shrimp on the barbie. I've never actually had a shrimp before. But then there's a shrimp cocktail. Is that actually like a cocktail, or is that just shrimp cocktail as the name?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my question for this, this live stream. And I was like, Anthony, okay, so it's not Dave. So, makes sense.
I told you it's not Dave.
Yeah. And also, so do you think, what do you think about the South African teams leaving the Super Rugby? Because it's been the consequences of that. Suddenly, Southern Hemisphere rugby sucks. Not that South Africa is any better at the moment, says Ryan. I don't know. I don't think it was the huge difference yet, but I think it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit of time. I
don't think international size not being good is down to the domestic competitions. I think it's more how much the international, New Zealand Rugby Union or South African Rugby Union invest in the grassroots. That's what I think changes how an international rugby plays.
And predictions on South Africa versus Wales. I see South Africa winning, but it's going to be a close game. I have a feeling I'll be tuning into the Rugby Guru for the South African game. See Sammy Souza. I'm not offended.
Sammy Souza. Watch him.
That didn't just shoot me through the heart or anything.
Sammy Souza, man.
No, it's all good.
That's not good enough.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's not good enough.
He's saying it's not good, but it's all good.
Enough.
It's all good.
It's not good enough. Where are you from? Let me know.
It's fine.
I'll message you on Instagram.
No,
Do it right.
I don't know if we're getting a rugby itch here. We'll go for another 2 minutes. If he doesn't show up, then we'll call it a day. I was like, oi, Dave has left impolite. Then, oi.
And England, we just scheduled Dave. Better than Oi Dave. No, Oi Dave is an Australian film.
Is it?
I showed you that video of the so the Americans were fighting with the Australians in Afghanistan.
Yes.
And that American goes, "Oh, Corporal," and he goes, "Nah, just call me Dave." And then the Australians are like, "Oi, Dave!"
Great statement you both showed. Should be very proud. Well done. Here's Adrian there and Leah. Like I mentioned, we have got South Africa taking on Wales a little bit later on. I know I just tuned in and England won. Says Mason, can Australia still win this?
I think they can. If they try really hard, they can still get the win here.
Oh, so you're going to be kidding me, says Mason there. And yeah, just unlucky for the Australians. And I want to watch the Scotland-Argentina game, but I keep sleeping past. It's like 3 a.m. kickoff where I am, unfortunately, says Steve. So, I mean, if you do end up randomly opening your eyelids at some stage throughout that time, be
Put
sure to
like that was
come
fun,
see us.
3 minutes.
And appreciate the good hosting between you both. Thank you, guys. Says Jaden, no worries at all. And he gets it. Says, my name's not Dave.
Hey, Dave!
And also, we're going to come on, Wales. Says Ollie. Yeah, and also don't count All Blacks out just yet. And it's all good, mate. I tune into your rugby commentary or streamers by country and Kiwi lads as an alternative based on whose players. Says Simi Sosa.
So,
there you go.
I tune into my country and Kiwi lads.
It's all good. You know,
Where's he from, though?
I think he's in Fiji at the moment, aren't you, Semi Sosa? And come on, Wales, says Joseph. And there as well. Right, we have got another 30 seconds till we probably end because Rugby Itch seems like he has gone MIA. So we'll have to wait. I think Leicester City are actually losing to, who's that? Udi Havale 11. Currently down after the first minute, Leicester City concede. Not ideal, is it? Big Mox by 7 says Durkee. Yeah, I'm somewhere along those same lines. 5 to 10 points, I think, is my margin. And also, which team you support? South Africa or Wales, says Michelle.
South Africa, just because it's Southern Hemisphere rugby.
And come on, the Springboks. And there's come on, England, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. Now, that's actually 2 out of the 4. If the last 2 Northern Hemisphere sides win, I have to shave my mustache, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I've had this mustache for like 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. You can you want to shave yours too?
I don't have one, really.
You do. It's just ginger or like kind of blonde.
I reckon I can get some more.
You know?
Get that going.
And I support South Africa. Here's Mason J. And there's but can't come on, unfortunately.
All right, I'm leaving.
Oh, well, we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. What else should they do?
Subscribe to the Kiwi Lads Gaming channel if you want to see arrogant old George talk shit even more. I'm funny, okay? I'm funny, all right? Give me a chance.
Keep telling yourself that, mate.
You shut up.
I
I'll dick you just like that, mate. Drop your ass.
Well, as long as you're dicking me and not changing one of those letters, eh? Is there else then you and Marcus Smith could join the same club?
Marcus Smith's definitely gay.
He's not, though.
He's definitely
look
gay.
him up on Instagram and look
at
at his
but
female
many
friend.
guys are like, I have a hot girlfriend, but he's gay. Looks gay. Nick White's definitely a ladies' man, though. He's the complete opposite of Marcus.
He's
Smith.
married.
Yeah, but he's loving it.
And also Ireland best in the world. So here's Mason J and Adrian said that 2 seconds ago.
Yes, they are.
As well. And nonetheless, thank
yes,
you all
they are.
very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe.
Go Ireland.
And we will see you all for the next one.
All right.